Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Starfall Collective. We're between seasons at the moment, between seasons 2 and 3, and this is part 2 of the Aufblitzen two-shot. The gentlemen playing with me tonight are good friends, one and all, and I will begin by introducing you to Mr. Matthew Talamini. Give the folks a wave and a bit about yourself.
What's up? My name is Matthew Talamini. I am a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island, and you can find my stuff at MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew, TALAMINI.com.
And over here in the top right is Sir Robert. Why don't you give the folks a little wave and a little ditty about yourself?
Hey, I'm Sir Robert, and I have no discernible non-physical traits. You can find my stuff at thefarce.net.
Lovely. And joining us tonight for part 2 of this one-shot is my buddy. Oh, sorry. There you go. Michael Moeller. Michael, you want to say hey, and anything you want to pitch to the world at large, feel free to take a sec.
Hey, I'm Michael. I'm a friend of Josh's. We've kind of pinged here and there with random D&D games and and I am finishing up with senior year at Georgia College with the GIS program.
We've been gods together, Michael and I. That was a lot of fun.
Good times.
So when last
me trying to kill you, you trying to eat me. Good times.
I believe you mean me eating you. So when last we played, these Matthew and Sir Robert already got a chance to play Bobo and Kamina, Aufblitzen warriors in the Elven military branch of elite, dropped out of the sky, power suit wearing, mech infused fighting warriors who address the greatest threats the Elven Empire experiences. Matt, you played Bobo. Tell us a little bit about your suit. What does your suit look like?
Bobo's suit is big and sort of very dark green foliage covers it. Stiff needles like a blue pine.
And this is your actual huge mech suit, not just your power armor,
huge,
but the big nature elemental infused living suit. So it looks like
that's
blue
right.
spruce pine.
Yep, it's very sturdy and yet also very flexible, like a strong mountain pine, which bends with the wind but does not break.
Nice. And if people saw you outside of your suit with a little bit of downtime in the corner of the ship, they might catch you doing what?
They would be seeing something like a sort of prototypical drunken master type. Bobo has decided that his color is purple. He tries to get everything purple around him. He's got like a purple robe sort of get up, and he's got a staff that he tries to paint purple, but it chips off, and just everything. He's got a purple like bottle that's always with him. I think it's not like liquor. It's like really strong coffee or something. But the drunken master has to be drunk on something, so that's what he's got.
All right. And Kamina is a man of extreme bravado. What would you say? Would you give me a couple
Fighting
of defining characteristics? What's that? I missed it. We were talking
Fighting
to each other.
spirit.
That's right. Fighting spirit. And if Kamina was found next to his actual mech, polishing it and cleaning it up, what would that look like?
That would look like Kamina talking with all the people, helping them to understand that they're up to the challenges ahead.
So anyone who might be standing around is going to get sucked into your world vortex of optimism.
No, we're all going to be sucked into the force our fighting spirit creates as it pierces the heavens.
Also,
Lovely.
by the way, it is probably not Kamina who is polishing his mech. It's probably Bobo.
Right. So Bobo's polishing his mech. Kamina is off running around doing a million different things all over the ship. But Kamina has an incredibly dedicated gnome who takes meticulous care of his suit and keeps it in perfect order. You guys got dropped out of the bottom of your ship after being told that you were going to deal with a problem near a city. Does anybody remember the name of the city, the Great Elven Alliance city that you're being dropped to the south of?
It wasn't Fujidomo.
It wasn't Fujidome. It was Daigo. It has a huge 40, 50 foot tall statue of a baby over the city gates. And it is one of the major Elven Alliance cities. And a starfall has occurred less than about a day's journey to the south in the valley system that stretches to the south and slightly southeast away from the city. There, in the valley, have been eruptions of reports of monsters and strange creatures that should not be around, namely dwarves who have been absent from the surface of the world for 100,000 years and are nowhere to the best knowledge of some very knowledgeable people. You have been dropped in to assess and deal with the threat and save the city. Don't let whatever's happening get to the city and ruin the reputation and the integrity of the Elven Alliance. You were
What we
dropped out of
found
your
was
ships.
werewolves.
That's right. You were dropped out of your ships. Bobo landed with a thunderous crash to the ground in superhero pose, stood up and commenced to wailing upon said werewolves with his massive adamantine fists. Communist showed up and just cowed all of them into submission with a very persuasive negotiation, and then proceeded to just walk right up beside him, slap his hand on him, and freak the werewolf out again. They managed to run away and flee from you guys, but not after you guys grabbed one. And you wanted to ask him a question, right? Does anyone remember how that went?
I remember the portal. I remember there was a guy we talked to that had a weird raven hook light.
We'll jump to
Yeah,
him in a sec. You guys asked the werewolf, "What are you guys doing here?" And he said something
That's
about
right, moving the
protecting
stones.
shipments. Protecting the
Protecting
stone.
shipments.
That's right. And so you guys followed the pack of werewolves that charged off, and that led it to an open field, and it was just kind of scattered, dotted with them. There were just, more than a dozen werewolves scattered throughout this, 5-6 acre valley field that kind of slopes down towards a road along the valley floor. And you guys kind of charged straight ahead and just started addressing people and asking questions. You ended up, trying to remember now, you saw some figures along the valley, along the road, but you didn't get too close to them. And through combat and things settling down a bit, there was a boulder in the middle of the field. And that's where, Sir Robert, you're remembering the raven on top of it, the explorer-looking guy. There were a bunch of hieroglyphs and images. And when you guys looked at them, you failed your wisdom saving rolls, and you got sucked into a scene that appeared to be about 100,000 years ago, a scene of dwarves as taskmasters cracking whips over werewolves that were pulling sledges and things like that. Kamina tried to charge forward and slammed into the rock that was not there in the scene, but was there in real life. You followed, Pearl showed up. That's right. That was what I was missing. Pearl, the turtle, in a massive tortoise-shaped mech, just started spewing enormous beams of energy out of her mouth, just zapping and picking off werewolves in this open field.
We don't even need to fight the werewolves. She was doing it all.
Yeah, so she was clearing the yard trash. You guys charged ahead down the path through the forest and encountered someone. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to remember. I'm not gonna tell you anything if you don't. When you, Sir Robert, tried to read thoughts, listen to thoughts on the archaeologist, do you guys remember what happened?
I don't remember an archaeologist. I remember a weird guy who is
the explorer-looking guy.
Yeah,
there was a lot of crazy psychotic garbage, and It was very trippy, and I don't remember very many details of it, but it was incoherent and seemed like paranoid, delusional ideation.
And then there were some people
And
that
a
were going to
portal.
shoot at us from on top of a wall, and I ran straight up the cliff.
That's right. That's right. That was part of the approach, was that you guys had to fight your way through a valley, and there was a point where there was going to be an ambush, but you spotted them, ran right up the side of it, and just started pummeling these dwarven archers that were at the top of the cliff. But they looked to have kind of like almost Stone Age type bows and clothes and tools and stuff.
And we
They
captured
didn't-
one of them and took it back to the big ship.
That's right. That's right. You returned him for interrogation and intelligence. That's right. So Pearl has basically sent up a beacon from that open field. A huge crate has dropped and then unfolded and is now basically a mobile base for you guys out in that field. And you pressed on into the woods. And you let me ask you one quick question before we move on. Do you remember how many voices you heard, Sir Robert?
I think I only remember 2.
Okay. So you pressed on through the field, through the forest road, and encountered an entity. Humanoid in shape. Do you remember any more details about him? How he appeared? What he looked like?
No.
Okay. Do you remember that this was the last big encounter of the night? Is that you saw
No, the last thing that happened,
shining humanoid-looking avatar?
we ran up the hill, we grabbed a dwarf, we got teleported back onto the ship.
That was the last thing that happened.
That was the last thing that happened.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. And that was coming back. Okay. So
Bringing the dwarf back, we stopped. And
Yeah.
that's it.
you didn't get teleported back to the ship. You hooked something to the dwarf
That's right.
and you sent him back up to the ship.
Right.
You guys are still down in the field.
But that's the last thing we narrated.
Right. So
we ended up, we were talking to our captain up in the ship. he was saying stuff to us.
communications device.
Okay, so we're still down in the town.
That's well, you're not in a town. You're just down in a field, in a valley system.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So there's just kind of a system of valleys and pockets of forest, and there are mountains that are very, very visible, not too far away. So you guys are in kind of the valley foothill area at the base of the mountains. So you are all standing around the base. Pearl is standing there by you guys, and a communication.
Sorry, the
Go
base
ahead.
of what? The base
At
of
the
what?
base that you guys have set up in this open field that is
Okay.
basically made out of this crate that fell from the earth and then opened up and folded out. And there's, some medical supplies, some food. There's stuff if you need to build a tent or a shelter. There are 4 more of those hooks that will bring somebody up if you need one. There's a way to communicate with base, and there's some more weapons if you need them. So you guys are all standing around when the light blinks on the communications device that is made of gnomish arcanomancy. It's some combination of magic and mechanical stuff. And you hear this kind of fuzzed out voice, and it speaks saying,
Aufblitzen on the field. You are being sent reinforcements. We have received new intelligence that a massive structure is being erected not too distant from you.
and he gives coordinates for where that is, and you realize it's kind of in the direction of the valley that you started going down that path into the woods, but further in the same direction that all of those dwarves and sledges were going. And he says,
Stand by, engage at earliest possibility.
and you see up in the sky the telltale burning signal of not just a person, something bigger than a person, smaller than a suit, and this massive object comes falling out of the sky, with flames erupting out underneath each of its two wheels. Michael, what do they see at a light next to them?
So as it lands, you see a figure sitting upon a Harley Davidson motorcycle with flames going down the back of it. But covering the flames is just this canopy of like fungus and mushrooms that just cover every inch of it. You see sitting upon it is a very tall bugbear with greased back hair and a pompadour that comes out about 2 feet. He's wearing a leather jacket and a pair of reflector shades. You see he takes out an apple from his jacket, finishes it in 3 bites, and flicks the core into the bushes. And he kind of dismounts his glaive that's hooked to the side of the motorcycle, rests it on his shoulder, and steps off and kind of looks around to see who he's coming to help.
All right, so you are from a different kind of battalion. Right now, a bunch of resources have kind of converged on the scene, and you're being dispatched to a group that you don't know, you've never fought with before. So you would have to probably introduce yourself or address the group somehow. Otherwise, you're all going to stand there, I guess, in awkward silence until I say something.
So, is anyone here? I got sent here for the mission, but where's the welcome party?
What mission? We just finished.
Well, that signal beacon says otherwise. That's a come help signal beacon, and here's your help.
That's just the captain. He doesn't quite know what's going on.
It's one of those, I see. Well,
Wait, didn't we just get assigned to go destroy some building that was assembling itself at some location?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to what the captain said.
No, Kamina, I'm pretty sure we got orders.
Okay, great. A new mission. I'm up for it 2 in a row. Let's do it.
Mr. DM, our orders are to go and explode some structure at a particular location.
So you received intelligence that a massive structure has appeared, seemingly just bizarrely quickly. And yeah.
Remind me, because I guess I must have forgotten. What is the nature of the problem that we're here to solve? It's werewolves were murdering people, right?
You guys ran into some werewolves, but the reports were there are just monsters being reported all over.
So the problem is that the citizens of the town are getting murdered.
People outside of the city in the outlying area to the south have died. Yes, entire villages have been wiped out.
Mayhem.
At this point,
Okay.
Yeah, at this point, you've probably received a few updates, and casualties rank in the thousands.
Okay, so I say to Kamina, they gave us the coordinates for some weird building that's getting constructed somewhere, and all I know is I see 2 new things here and not one. The first new thing is werewolves murdering the citizens, and the second new thing is this crazy building. So let's go blow it up.
Let's do it. That's the kind of fighting spirit I'm looking for. New guy, you can come along and carry our equipment.
that's not what I came here for. I came to help out, and that's about it.
So you guys both have slots on your mechs to take things with you. So before you leave, there are a couple of huge crates for each of you guys to add stuff to you two, Bobo and Kamina. Minami. What are you going by? Minami Silver, full name?
Minami Silver.
Minami Silver.
Bobo goes up to the newcomer, the bugbear. How tall are you?
About 8 feet tall.
Okay, so how broad are you?
Very broad.
Okay, so somebody who's probably your same dimensions, but like half your height, or maybe 5 or 6 feet. Okay, not 5 or 6 feet. I'm gonna say 5 feet, but nearly as broad as you, like lots of muscles. Leaves his pine tree looking mech and comes up to you and just looks up and up and does not seem super impressed.
I figure right
And
now my
says-
like pompadour hair just casts a massive shadow on you.
Yeah. I'm in the shadow of your pompadour hair, and I stick up one hand and I say, "Pleasure to meet you. My name's Bobo."
It's mighty nice to meet you. Name's Minami Silver. And I give you a
Minami.
very firm handshake.
What you should know is that we're going to blow up that thing, and Kamina is a very great warrior, and I always follow his lead because we always win.
So in these two crates that are designated, one of them is painted all purple. The other one has got a little bow affixed to the outside of it with a little card dangling off of it. And the purple one is for Bobo. The other one is for Kamina. Inside is a massive, massive weapon that affixes to your suit. And it does something astonishing, something big, mass battle scale. Matt, what do you think that would be for Bobo? Damage, control, some sort of other effect?
Bobo usually hits things with his fists.
So it's gloves?
I mean, he already has these big metal gloves.
No, I mean gloves for your mech.
No, the mech has big metal gloves,
Yeah,
right?
you can't have too many gloves.
You've got them. You've got them at your scale. The mech itself is just this massive, massive brain. You could punch something with your fists, but the mech is going to do even more damage. We may not have done that. We may. I think we were running stats for you with your bare fists at some point. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. I'm not too worried about damage and stuff like that.
You're in charge, man. I've got
okay.
I've got Bobo's sheet in front of me. I don't have this mech sheet. I don't know what it is.
That's
You're
fair.
the one with that thing.
So you can
but
either
if
have something
Bobo-
that makes your mech do something really cool or do a ton of damage. It's your option.
It would probably be some way of like, you know how plants like the Venus flytrap can move with sort of a creepy vegetable speed that's very, very quick
Oh yeah.
and sudden. Like they're very still 1 minute and then ka! I would think that there would be some sort of whatever it is, some sort of potion that the mech could imbibe that would make its branches sort of snap into some position where they can all at once snap back from that position and sort of hit things, like lash out and hit things with that same sort of uncanny speed that a Venus flytrap exhibits. So it's like a potion that puts a whole bunch of potential energy into the plant matter.
You've got a massive bar with straps that you strap onto your arm, and you see these 3 enormous bulbs of roiling, bubbling, swirling, viscous, but somehow plasmatic green stuff. It's clearly magical, and it glows with energy. And when you break those, things will happen. Crazy, crazy things. So, Kamina, what sort of heavy battle scale attachment do you think is going to go on your mech that looks like you, but 10 feet tall?
Without a doubt, completely clear. This is a spherical object with a big spike coming out of one side of it.
Okay.
And when the time is right, I just keep it kind of there, right? And it's big. It's like the size of the mech's head, chunk. And when the time is right, I can just take it and stab it, the cylindrical spike into some other mech, and our fighting spirits will fuse and become one super mech.
All right. So you have a fusion mech. So you have an omni joint. This is a extremely powerful, extremely rare piece of Aufblitzen equipment.
Nobody knows how it works.
Yeah, there's only maybe a few dozen of them in the entire Elven Empire. You think there's one?
They're all of the mechs and stuff are Satyr technology that the elves took over. This is definitely something different. It's probably Dragonborn.
All right,
much older. Nobody knows how it works. It's the only one we've ever found, and nobody knows what it does. But Common is pretty sure if he stabs something with it, it'll do what it needs to.
I was going to give you guys larger super mech, Voltron kind of stuff, but that's fair.
It'll work on that too.
What?
It'll work on that too.
Sure, we'll find a way to make it work for that. But for now, there's only one, and you found it. And so that's why you get to hold on to it and stuff. So yes, if it comes down to it, you can use this object, and we'll just play Calvin Ball and see what happens.
Technically, so, Bobo found it, but he gave it to Kamina.
Okay, so you guys, yeah, I mean, you were doing a mission, and you basically blew out the side of a mountain, and it opened up a aperture underneath the mountain that was a dwarven ruin, and it looked like there was just like eons and decades, eons and millennia, tens of millennia worth of stuff that had been cached in there. So it's really hard to tell exactly where it's from. It was kind of mixed in with a lot of other things. So you guys are equipped with coordinates. Do you take Pearl with you? That'll slow you down significantly. Or do you leave her behind to guard the theater and have a safe, kind of point of retreat?
Kamina does neither of those. He has no regard whatsoever for Pearl. Slaps the new guy on the back and says, "New guy, I'm glad you're with us. Welcome to the team." And immediately takes off towards the coordinates. Let's go, okay. Bobo!
All right.
Bobo, while following Kamina,
yep.
Bobo says to Pearl, Bobo is thinking, we basically parachuted into this place. We haven't secured anything. The only one who can secure anything is Pearl. So Bobo says, Pearl, we're going to go blow up the building. Don't worry. We're going to be fine. Could you go and keep the people of the town safe? We're gonna destroy the big evil thing. We're gonna pull the problem up by the root. But while we're doing that, we need somebody to protect the citizens.
So you want me to redeploy north of the theater between it and the city?
I think that you should what's the word? You should get instructions from the captain who's looking at all this from above in the airship. He'll know better which way to go.
Oh, I do. My instructions are to be an asset to Kamina's battalion. But if you don't need me, I'll reassign myself. Get out of here.
And she kind of cracks her neck slowly, but like about a dozen vertebrae go off. And she goes over and she hits the comm and she says,
"This is Pearl. Flying free and we're looking for a good time."
And you hear the dispatcher say, "Roger that." And they give her a coordinate to go off into. They say, "If you put a book on it, then you might be able to show up in time to help out some boys who need it." So she gives you a salute, hustles over, which looks like it looks like a toddler waddling. And that's her sprinting back over to the suit. She jumps back in it, and you see her go lumbering off in another direction. But Kamina has since disappeared, I believe.
I was following Kamina and communicating via the suit with Pearl.
Oh, okay, very good.
And I say to Kamina, I look up at Kamina. I look up at Kamina. I say, "Don't worry, Kamina. Pearl will protect the people of the city while we take care of the problem."
Kamina does not hear that and ignores it because he turned off his speaker once they started jibber jabbering about all that stupid garbage.
All right, and new guy, Minami Silver, your battalion leader and his right-hand man have just taken off down the hill and disappeared into the woods.
But strongly welcomed him and invited him to come along.
That's right.
Yeah,
Did you take off with them, or are you standing there watching their trail of dust?
I kind of give a soft salute towards Pearl.
That's right.
And I just rev the motorcycle, do a 180, just spewing gravel everywhere, and I just take off. And you can see as my motorcycle drives, the exhaust just spores come fuming from it, and a
Nice.
trail of mushrooms is left everywhere where I drive.
Nice.
And I am catching up speed significantly with your pace.
Okay, so you're open throttle. He's gaining on you guys very quickly. As he comes pulling up by you, Bobo, Kamina, make me perception checks.
7.
10.
Okay, so he pulls up next to you guys, and you're all kind of in formation, screaming down the road at full speed for your suits, which is, about maybe 70% speed for your bike. It's built to just go screaming fast in a straight line over flat surfaces. So you travel through the forest. You get past that place where you encountered the Avatar at the crossroad. Actually, you pass through that area. And as you're traveling, you see the road kind of opens up into another one of these little valleys. And you need to make a choice. You can either go through the valley system, which looks like it'll be roughly a straight shot, or you can basically bank up to the right and kind of take what looks like it would be an equally short distance as the crow flies, maybe a little bit shorter, but it'll be up and down over rocks and steep terrain and stuff like that. So it's up to you.
Can we see the destination?
You can see in the distance something kind of poking up through the there's a massive canopy of forest on the far side of this kind of valley system that you're seeing. It kind of dips down just a little bit and then back up. At the far side is a forest, and then there's some sort of large stone, something poking up out through the top of the trees. So you can either go through the valleys or go off and kind of go up through the base of the mountain.
Kamina flips realizes his mic is still off and has a brief moment to wonder whether anybody else has been trying to talk to him, but disregards that notion, and then says, "We're almost there, guys. Let's do it." And he just makes a beeline straight for the thing that he thinks is probably the destination.
So probably you're charging off down the valley. Okay. So
that's the straightest line.
Okay, it is. It is indeed. So all of you guys make me survival checks.
11.
Woo.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
18.
Okay. Kamina, you are just charging ahead, just blindly, doggedly sprinting in a straight line. Kamina, Bobo, Minami, you guys both recognize that there is a massive amount of loose boulder and earth and everything on the side of this valley face, and that any kind of large tremor or impact or explosion could set off literally a landslide that would be enough to bury all three of you in a massive amount of earth. As you realize that, make me perception checks, all of you.
All three?
All three.
That's a 15 for me.
A 15 for you?
22.
22?
23.
Okay. Bobo, Kamina, Minami, Silver, your eyes are up on the landslide ahead that you have not yet gotten to, but your eyes stay fixed up there. Bobo, Kamina, you guys both look down, and you see a small figure that looks a little bit shorter than a person, and he's got two large things underneath, one large thing underneath each arm. And he's standing in the middle of the path.
Kamina runs up to him and says, What's going on here?
All right, so as you get within about 60 feet of him, you realize that this thing is a dwarf. And I'm going to give you this, just you can tell me whether or not you keep charging the last 60 feet or not. But you guys are all about 60 feet away from him. And you see a kind of, he looks, he's got his feet planted. He's not moving at all. He's just kind of hunkered there. And you see that he's got a huge cigar in his mouth, and it's got this glowing red tip at the end of it. And you see him take the cigar out of his hands, out of his mouth. And everybody, you've got a split second. Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
20.
18.
20, 18, and
That is a 11 for me.
11. Okay. So Kamina and Bobo, you guys get an opportunity to react. You realize this guy is about to light a fuse that means that these barrels are probably full of powder, and he's about to blow them up and trigger an avalanche. You've got a split second to do something about that.
The scene that I'm imagining in my mind is wrong.
Okay, so
I think I'm
he's
imagining
about 6
that
feet away from you, down the road, up to the right is a avalanche worth of valley wall. Up to the right, and there's
where
a
is
guy.
this gunpowder?
What's that?
He's got two
Where
big
is this-
barrels.
He's
The
got.
guy.
They're just with
They're
him.
underneath each arm. Remember when you were approaching him? He
Okay.
had a big object
So
underneath each arm.
my idea is not wrong after all.
Okay.
When I look around, do I see? My impression is that we're in the woods, in the wilderness, right? Are there farms below these rocks? Are there houses?
So you
Are there
sit in the
people?
woods and you're going down a valley floor. You're down at the base of
Right.
the valley, looking out along the side of the valley wall. You realize that there is a tremendous amount of boulder.
I
and
got
what
the
look-
boulders. I understand, but I understand that we are in danger from the boulders. But what I'm asking you is, just because it's a valley doesn't mean it's uninhabited.
Civilization, you're out in the middle of the woods. You're out in the middle.
That's
of the
what I was
wilderness.
asking.
Okay.
Okay, I don't care about this. I'm going to. I don't know.
I know.
I'm going to kick him out of the way.
Okay, so
Really
the two
hard.
of you, I guess, need to roll initiative for me because we're entering initiative. This is a surprise round, or what?
Sounds good, but I need to know, did we have any kind of rest before, between the two episodes?
Oh, that's true.
No, there was no time to rest. You guys
Well,
brought the guy back, got instructions, and got sent instructions to deploy.
Sounds good.
My initiative is 20.
Okay.
Mine is, let's see. Mine is 7.
Okay. All right.
I'm-
Bobo, he's 60 feet away from you. What do you do?
So, 60 feet away is a little bit too far.
In slow motion, while you're making your decision, the cigar has come out of its mouth. It's turning around.
You can
He's
run.
holding it up.
I mean, you can use your movement to get to dash to him or something.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky.
Your move speed will get you to him.
Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. No, I'm spending a key point to take the dash action as a bonus action on my turn. That lets me move 100 feet this turn. Okay?
You don't even have to do that. You're inside the suit. The suit takes care of that movement for you, and it
What is the
frees you up.
walking? I don't have the sheet for the suit in front
That's
of me.
okay. You're
What's the distance on my suit?
feet in the suit.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Your base speed is 60 feet in the suit. Long story short, save your key point, run up on the dude and attack.
Okay, he's very small compared to my suit. My suit is very
He's
large.
tiny. He's tiny. Yeah.
So what
He
I'm
doesn't
going to
even come up
do,
to you.
and you come up with, I'll tell you whatever stats you need to know from my character sheet about this. But what I
Sure.
want to do is, I wish to punt him like a football down
Okay.
the valley. I'm going to run up to him full tilt,
Okay.
And just approach from the right. Approach diagonally from the right with as much as I can because I want to punt him off to the left downhill.
Okay. Do it.
I'm just going to toe him like a football.
Make an athletics check with advantage.
That's me.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're good.
20.
Okay. You see the dwarf just go flying end over end through the air. His little form is just ragdoll spinning through the air. Matt, roll me a d10. Just roll a good old d10.
Here it comes. 3.
Okay, yeah. You see these two barrels go flying off in either direction, and one of them kind of stumbles and rolls, and the other one arcs much farther, and when it lands, it detonates and it blows a crater in the earth.
Who cares? Let's go.
You're good, and it's far, far away. You guys keep charging down the road, and as you are going, you get to a point where there is a sort of a suspension bridge across a chasm, and you see down below what looks to be, I don't know, a couple of 100 feet down is just a trickle of a mountain stream. But the bridge running across it looks to be pretty sturdy. It's more than a suspension bridge. It's actual beams and stuff, but it is kind of questionable whether or not it will support massive, massive suits. And the expanse is about 100 feet wide.
Is there
This
anything...
is not a problem for me. I have an ability called this is called no. I have an ability that lets me do things
like run across
this.
the tops of trees and do acrobatic Kung Fu Panda kind of
crouching
tiger, hidden dragon stuff. Yeah,
I've just got to find it.
It's okay. You crouching tiger, hidden dragon over the top of the. There's a little decorative arch over the top of it, and you like run over the tops of that.
Yeah, but I can like, in my mech is really big, right? I'm like 20 feet tall or something.
Yeah, you're huge. Yeah.
So I can carry at least the bugbear and his motorcycle, right?
I suppose if you're gonna crouching tiger, hidden dragon it with a huge object under your arm, I'm gonna make you do a check for that. If it's just you, does it say anything about your encumbrance level? I'm going to say if you've got a huge object, your magic and your attunement with this nature elemental is enough to get you like that, but you can't use it to just suddenly make an entire other magic list.
Crossed by myself.
Yeah. So, all right. So,
Okay.
So Bobo's across. Minami Silver. Michael Moeller.
Sorry,
What do you do?
Yeah, so I just go and just going straight towards the precipice, and then I just slam a button on my motorcycle, and my chair just rockets forward, and it launches me all the way across the ravine. And then the moment before I hit the ground, I would like to cast Find Steed and teleport my motorcycle back under me and just land on my motorcycle.
Nice. Your legs, you go flying through the air, and at the last second, your legs split, and you land with your butt in the motorcycle seat, flying forwards. Kamina
just runs straight across the bridge. He doesn't care. Probably it's going to hold him up, because why wouldn't it?
Why wouldn't it? Make me a acrobatics check.
Deal. And I have disadvantage for... No, not in the mech I don't.
You do not have disadvantage.
Okay. 19.
Okay, yeah. You see, he's just charging forward, and you see wood just splintering and shattering, exploding out behind him. Somehow, with every footfall, the kinetic energy doesn't break the wood, but somehow the rebound energy, it just kind of erupts behind him. And so you see the bridge breaking apart and it crumbles to nothing as soon as Kamina gets to the other side. So ahead, down the valley, it kind of, you're at the crest of a valley. Going down, you see at the base of this slope is where the forest begins. And jutting out impressively, you see what looks to be towers that are jutting out of a massive circular building. Circular, but almost a kilometer, probably a kilometer or more in diameter, maybe 2. For the time to pop out of nowhere, I mean, you don't know of any arcane spells that can do something like that. There are legends of wizards who can, with a word, conjure a single spire that reaches to the heavens that's, maybe like 50 or 100 feet tall, but it's still just a spire. This is an insane feat of magic or engineering or something to just appear out of nowhere. And that's what you see.
Kamina runs full speed until he's ready to stop and then gets into a pose that lets him skid to a stop on the ground and says, Bobo, new guy, let's figure this out.
I to a stop as well.
Nice.
I say, so I'm sorry, how wide would you say like the foundation of this building is?
About a kilometer. About a kilometer wide.
Kilometer wide.
It's a big building. My instincts tell me that there's someone or something in that building we need to take care of.
Seems right. I have a proposition for you, Dungeon Master.
Okay.
Because have you ever seen when an acorn accidentally gets underneath of like a slab of cement or something?
No, I don't know where this is going.
And then you come back a little while later and the slab of cement has been split in half by the little tiny green acorn tree coming up. Tiny oak tree.
Absolutely.
Little tiny soft green oak tree goes right through the cement, right?
Right.
Do we see a door?
The face of the building is obscured by the forest. What you can see are the tips of it sticking out. You can see the top of a wall that clearly has a curve to it. And a kilometer might be a bit excessive, but it is monolithically large. Let's say it's probably, I don't know what the conversion is from feet to kilometers, but
so I say
it's about 2,000 feet.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say that it's 1,000 feet.
Matt,
it's about 1,000 feet. Yeah.
Bobo would know, because he's all planty and whatnot, that Kamina can cast plant growth.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys synergize pretty darn well.
But what I would like to do first is, how tall does it look to me?
It looks like it's about maybe 200 feet tall.
Okay, so what I'm going to have to do in order to get to the top of it in 12 seconds is take two turns and climb on it.
Okay.
Cling to it in between those turns.
Okay. Cool.
So that's the only check that I would need to make, because in one turn I can move 100 feet by taking the dash action. And that can be directly up a vertical surface if I want.
Okay.
So I can move 100 feet straight up it in 6 seconds. And then I will have to probably do like an athletics check to cling to it, to climb on it. I don't know. If you want me to make one.
That lets you run up walls. Don't worry about it. We're good. All right.
Okay.
So you guys are still outside of the forest. Are you going to enter the forest?
So what I'm going to propose to Kamina is I'm going to say, hey, Kamina, I'm going to go check it out. Is that okay with you?
Just check it out. Mean do damage.
No. I'm not going to damage anything. I'm just going to run up to the top of it and get the lay of the land. Figure out how big it is. Stuff like that.
Oh, all right. What do you?
I'll be right back. I'll be
just-
right back.
I'll wait here.
I'll be back in 3 minutes. I'll tell you everything you need to know about the building, and then we'll destroy it. I just want to make sure there's not a whole army in there or something.
I'll wait here with Silverman.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Deal.
All right, so you charge off down into the woods. You are inside of a
I get out of the mech. I leave my mech
Oh, you
behind.
want to get out? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I
So
get out of
you're
the mech.
on foot.
I'm a regular sized elf with like my steel gauntlets or whatever,
Okay.
and I'm just going to the place where the forest comes closest to it that I can see. I'm going to emerge from that spot and just run straight up the side of the wall onto the roof.
Okay, so you enter into the woods and you are kind of dodging around trees. Make me a survival check to try to find the best path through the woods.
Absolutely. Where's survival? There we go. 17.
Okay, you find a series of game trails and you kind of get a lay of the land and you realize, oh, okay, based on how this is all going, if I go just a little bit over the right, I should be able to take a ridge in a straight shot. Do you take the top of the ridge or do you take the more difficult way and try to stay more concealed?
I'll take the more difficult.
Okay.
I'll take the more difficult way to stay concealed.
Okay. Make me a perception check.
22.
Okay, so as you maintain military training and you don't run along the top of a ridge, you go down more than the height of you go far enough down the ridge so that the side profile view would not permit your head to be sticking up above, like you use it as cover. You come to a point where you see a tripwire line that is set out immediately to the right of where you're running. You could have run past it and you would have been fine, but you realize that this area is booby trapped and that you have just narrowly missed the opportunity to trigger it. Do you keep running? Do you inspect it?
I say quietly over the radio to Kamina, the forest around the tower is booby trapped. They've mined it. I am not going to worry a whole lot about them. I'm not going to sprint anymore. I'll go slower on my way until I get to the clearing.
Okay. All right. So make me 2 more perception checks. Well, actually, you know what? Knowing this, we're gonna do a skill check encounter. Knowing that you are about to travel through a copse of woods that are booby trapped, what skills do you think that Bobo would use to successfully get through?
I think this is stealth. Right?
Okay.
I'm trying to sneak past obstacles and not touch things that I would otherwise touch.
Okay,
right?
so you're going to try to be stealthy enough to not trigger them in the first place. Give me how well does Bobo pull that off?
Oh. Okay, no, I'll take it. It was not Jack. It just landed in a pile of other dice. But that is 8 plus 7, which is going to be 15.
Excellent. Very good. Yeah, you have a couple of close calls. One time you step on you begin to put your foot down on some leaf litter and you begin to feel your foot sink just a little too far and your monk training kicks in and you're in this awkward position where your left knee is bent fully and completely. Your butt is almost to the ground and now your right foot is sticking straight out and down, falling away from below your right foot. You see a spike trap and you realize that this is like a 30-foot deep, massive, like filled with swords spike trap. It would have really seriously messed you up.
Nah, it wouldn't have. But that's okay.
Anybody else who didn't have a monk's constitution would have been in a lot of trouble.
I have some special stuff about Dex saving throws.
Okay. So So you get to the clearing of the woods. Hang on just one sec. Okay. And you see, indeed, this massive stone wall jutting straight up. And you see dwarves in kind of oddly crude leather armor. None of them seem to be wearing metal armor, but there are, maybe a dozen of them kind of around. And then looking up to the tops of the towers, you can see little figures kind of patrolling around, but only a couple. Like you can see one in a tower over here, and you can see maybe one guy walking the perimeter of the battlements. And then there's another guy in a tower over there. And all told, there seem to be, at any given point around the tower, around the perimeter of this building, there seem to be about 2 towers that you would be in visual range of.
Okay, so I wait, hold on. Let me see whether Bobo would think the way Matthew thinks.
Well, he's a warrior, so he's no slouch, even if he's not Einstein.
I just rolled a 16 and my intelligence is +1. So I'm hidden.
Yeah, you are still hidden. You're in a nature mech. No, you're not. You are. You've got a
right.
That is a nice kind of rustic color.
No, it's purple. It's purple, but I'm hidden in a shadow that
That's
is
right.
dark.
You're fine.
It's fine. So am I in contact with the captain right now?
You are in contact with Kamina and Minami Silver right now. But
okay, so I can't call the captain.
You can, but you need to pull out an actual separate magic item and use it up.
Do I have many of those?
You've got, I think, let me roll a D3. You've got 2.
Do you have an actual D3 there?
I have a D6, and I
Just
ran
checking.
it 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. I ran as a duplicate 1, 2, 3.
Sure.
Great. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get to a place where I can speak safely. I'm giving you the chance to make me make a stealth roll.
Okay. I'm gonna say
I've just seen something that makes me feel the need to deliver a much more thorough report up as far up the chain of command as I can.
Yeah. So there are. Let me see. Let me make a chance roll to see if you need to make a stealth roll. Yep. Okay. Make me a stealth roll. So there happens to be a guard not walking immediately by you, but he's like 10 feet away, walking the edge of the perimeter of the forest.
This is a natural 20 +7.
Nice. So you could like reach out and pluck one of his nose hairs off of his face if you wanted to.
So I'm going to expend that magic item, whatever it is.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm going to call the captain, the guy in charge.
Yeah. So it is a crystal, and you're able to crush it in your hand. And when you do, you kind of hold it up to your mouth. You hold it up to your face. And as you open your hand, you speak into it, and you're able to speak a message. What does Bobo say?
So I say, Captain, I've got eyes on the structure that you told us to investigate. I'm looking at it right now. When did you say that this first appeared?
We do not know when it first appeared, but we noticed it just a few hours ago.
The enemy has created a strongly fortified position manned by a large number of soldiers. What would be my estimate of how many soldiers are manning this fortified position?
Right now, you would guess that there's probably at least 30 troops on the ground around the perimeter and a dozen from the top doing high-level reconnaissance, surveillance.
And that's what I can see. I cannot. This structure is a kilometer wide.
500 feet. We're gonna say it's like.
You told me it was a kilometer wide.
I know. It's a little bit smaller than that. We're gonna say it's about 500 feet wide and about 200 feet tall at those highest towers, and just a little bit smaller on the wall. A kilometer's a little too big, but about 500 feet. Yeah. So
a kilometer is like
it's too big.
A city block.
Yeah, it's too big. That's too big.
Okay, great. Still, this is so I say, so how many, if what I saw was duplicated across the structure, like I multiply by how many times, how many different,
there's probably about 6 crenellations based on the fact there's probably 1 or 2 guys in there.
So there's like 100 dwarves manning this position?
Maybe. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable guess.
I say to the captain, the enemy has created. My tone gets very serious.
Yeah.
Bobo is usually very upbeat, but he's looking at this from a strategic standpoint. Suddenly, it was like a tactical question: how do we get rid of the bad guys out of the town? But it's suddenly become strategic because they've created like literal military fortifications inside of our territory, manned by troops in several hours. So the high command needs to know about this really bad. So I say, I tell him all that. I say, they have some technology that's so far beyond us that they can create a strongly fortified position inside of our territory in several hours, manned with at least 100 well-armed troops. I guess Bobo would not recommend anything, but Bobo would say something like, extreme caution is warranted. And
so
I think that
while you're kind of giving observations about all of this, he says, "Do you have any more details to convey that you have seen?"
I will just start listing details that I can see as I can see them. The nature of the weapons that the dwarves have.
Keep talking. And he hands you over, and you hear a female officer. Please continue to give description. And you're now describing everything to her.
I'm in a whisper, still very stealthy. I guess that they can call.
You describe all that stuff. The captain cuts back in, and he says, "Reinforcements are coming to your location. Bring all of the troops in the area and be ready to join the attack." So basically, he tells you to go back, get Kamina and Minami, and be ready to move.
Okay.
So
I leave my position and go back to Kamina and Minami.
I'm not even going to make you roll to go. Make me a survival check, since you're not a ranger, to find your path back that you know and have stuck out all the crap along.
Survival check is going to be just a 12.
Okay, that's enough. All you needed was a 12. It's a short stretch of woods. You were very careful and stealthy and successful as you did it. So you almost get sidetracked. So you show up, and Kamina, Minami, you guys have been hearing all of this. So you guys are ready to go.
Kamina has not heard any of it. He has been ranting. It's on. He's been ranting to Minami Silver, whose name he's gotten wrong several times, but not ill-naturedly, about these ne'er-do-well setting up things in these forests. Who do they think they are coming in here killing elves looking like that? Being all that weird shape, all tiny.
Minami, make me an intelligence roll. Yeah.
That is a 18.
An 18. You're able to, it kind of gives you a bit of a headache, but you're able to kind of buffer Kamina's diatribe, monologue, discourse, one-sided discourse.
Soliloquy,
pontification, while hearing all of this. So you know what's going on. And while he's talking, you can hear Bobo giving updates, and you know that, you're ready to go. So
I figure I have the big like bat-like ears. What the one by Kamina is completely turned down, and the one on the other side's like listening to the radio.
Nice. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So Bobo comes bursting out of the hood. Minami, you're ready to go. Are you already on your bike?
Yes.
Okay. So Bobo and Kamina are.
I don't think he should take the bike. Okay, no. Well, I guess we'll follow our orders.
Guys, whatever. Yeah,
I guess we do. I guess
are you gonna go on foot.
I think that if we're going to take the heavy stuff, we need to like dig in a position here because of the forest is mined and booby trapped. We're definitely going to set something off if we try to take these mechs through there. So I think either we go.
You know the path. I'm gonna let you know. You know the path. If you make an okay check, you'll be able to get everybody through the woods without the traps going off.
Yeah, but they're gonna see my mech. There's no way I can go back to my previous position. Do we have orders? We go to follow our orders.
Yeah, he didn't tell you how to obey the orders. He just said, be ready to be in position to attack in, a certain amount of time. Basically enough time for you to get back to the group and show them the way through.
Okay, so I say to Kamina, I thought that since it appeared in just a couple of hours, that it was some sort of spell or something, but it is actually a heavily fortified position full of armed soldiers. I'm sure you heard the reports over the radio. I think that we should definitely take the mechs.
I think it's amazing that they concentrated themselves all into one spot for us to take out at one time. Let's do it. You're right, Bobo. Let's charge.
Right. Let's charge.
All right. So are you guys bringing the mechs and the bike, or are you going on foot?
I'm getting into my mech.
Following
Kamina.
How far away is the tower from us?
Probably about maybe like a 2 or 3 minutes journey through the woods. It's not a super big stretch of woods.
1,000 feet.
Yeah, it's like maybe a mile away.
Okay, Bobo. How far away is that building?
It's about a mile away, Kamina.
Yeah.
About half a mile away, Kamina.
You said there's bombs, right?
Lots of bombs.
I don't think I can jump it. You're going to have to throw me.
No, I think the most important thing is we space each other out so a bomb doesn't get all three of us. That's what's important here. As I pull away from everyone else.
Good thinking, Silver.
All right.
What are you waiting for,
Kamina?
Bobo?
All right.
I grabbed Kamina.
Bobo, make me a survival check with advantage. You've already done this exact same check literally minutes before. Make me a survival check with advantage.
I want to talk about how I have a skill called Deflect Missiles, where I can use my reaction to deflect or catch a missile when I'm hit by a ranged weapon attack. When I do so, the damage I take from the attack is reduced by a huge amount. If I reduce the damage to 0 and I have a free hand, I can spend a key point to make a ranged attack, as with a monk weapon, with range 20 feet. I can't actually throw things very far.
With that suit on, you can.
Oh, okay.
You can throw really large ones.
Kamina is going to run really fast straight at Bobo as if to bash him.
Oh, and I'm going to throw you up?
Oh, Kamina has no clue what you're going to do, but somehow it's going to work out in the end.
Okay.
Ready?
All right.
Let's go. Kamina
we have to get closer before we do this.
Kamina runs about 100 feet back and then dashes straight at Bobo.
All right.
Hold on one sec.
Go ahead.
We're too far away for this to be anything but insane. We have to get closer before we try it.
All right, Matt, your suit begins to recoil and constrict and get really low and flat to the ground. And you see this kind of platform, the hands kind of come together. You're not entirely in control of this. At this point, the elemental inside the suit is responding to Kamina. And you see this massive,
very good,
woody, viney, flat platform open up. that's like angled towards Kamina down to the ground. And as Kamina comes running, as his feet hit that, you see it's like if you took an entire tree and you made a slingshot out of it, or a catapult, or a ballista. He goes flying with the kind of force that could liquefy a hippopotamus if you threw it at a wall with this kind of force. I mean, he goes like, I mean, just like a rocket flying through the air. And you see he is, in fact, on trajectory to clear this half-mile stretch of woods.
After I throw him...
Kamina
What's
had
that?
no idea about that, but was very sure Bobo could pull it off somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
After I throw him, I run after him, except I'm running on the tops of the trees.
Okay.
I can run on top of water. So
Yeah.
running on the tops of the trees is not a problem.
So, Minami, you have a big red button on your motorcycle, and you know that this is a good.
As soon as we hit the mines,
You slap that bad boy down, and you see flames belch and spores erupt in clouds from this thing, and you see this bike just kind of take off in a gout of flame and smoke. It's not quiet, it's not pretty, but you look like an ICBM taking off out of one of the chutes. There's this massive belching trail behind you, and you follow a pretty similar arc to the one that Kamina has taken. So you guys all, so the two of you, Kamina and Minami, land, and a few seconds later, Bobo comes running up, to, sideways Mighty Ducks 2, breaks into the dirt, about 4 feet down into the earth.
And when I land next to Kamina,
Yeah.
Kamina's doing like a central pose, and I'm doing like the pose that matches on the right. And we hold our pose for like a couple seconds, and I look over and I see Minami Silver, and I'm holding my pose, and I'm like, Minami.
Right. I gotta drive over and then join the pose with you guys.
Yeah.
But it's very clear. I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing in the pose.
Yeah, but you just copy me. I'm on the right, you're on the left, he's in the center, and the pose looks awesome.
Kamina did not notice at all and was doing a very natural pose, but happens to look down right when it's completed and goes, "Yeah, let's do it."
Make me an animal handling check,
Me?
real quick, Minami, for your ride.
That is a 17.
Okay, yeah. You manage to like basically pop a wheelie in the center of them and like form this perfectly, just incredibly hardcore metal symmetrical formation thing. All right. And you do this at the base of the wall, and you guys see one guard is just obviously pointed off at La La Land, and another one is looking in your general direction. And you realize you've got a split second before this guy recognizes you. What do? Everybody roll for initiative.
Where is he and where are we?
So
we're at the foot of the walls?
You're at the base of the wall facing it. There's a tower to the right. And there's a guy up there, and he looks to be kind of vaguely looking in your direction. And the guy to the left is just off in La La Land.
Okay, I got a 4 for my initiative, which is a critical fail. I rolled a 1.
All right.
I'm distracted by my awesome pose.
Okay.
I am also distracted with an initiative of 6.
Nice.
And I had a initiative of 6 as well.
Okay.
No, wait. I had 8. Sorry.
Okay. So this guy is kind of scanning over in your direction, and you see him look down at you, and his eyes widen, and he is about to do something. You don't. He's 200 feet up in the air, but you can tell that he has spotted you, but he's still leaning over the edge. Kamina,
how high is the top where he is?
200 feet.
You said 200 feet? Okay.
It's about row video for Sir Robert has been turned off to save bandwidth. I don't know if we want to.
Hold on one sec.
I can
I
still
can
see
see
Is
it.
everything okay on the Twitter? On the Twitch, I mean.
My stream rate is very high, so I think it might be on your side.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. He's about 200 feet up in the air.
Okay. Sorry, I have to look at a couple of spells just to see their range. Okay. Sounds good. Then Kamina runs forward really fast and punches the wall to try
Sweet.
to go in.
Okay. With your mech.
Sure. It wouldn't really matter. He didn't think about that much.
Roll me an attack and just don't roll a 1.
Let's see. This is just a physical attack or whatever? Or just
Yep. This is a mech unarmed, which is armed, attack. This is a melee attack with your mech, punching the wall.
19.
Roll to hit. 19. Roll me. Let's see here. 2d12 to punch that wall with your fist.
Okay. A combined 7.
Okay. You see a huge crack appear in the wall, and you realize that if you had hit that wall with like a hammer or a piece of wood or something, probably would have just soaked it. But because your fist on your mech is made of an incredibly hard metal, all of that damage is immediately going into the stone. So even though it's only a 7, you see a split crack appear in the stone. Minami, do you have any other bonus actions or free actions that you want to take? Sorry,
Nope.
Kamina? Okay, Minami.
The wall is 100 feet tall, you said?
200. The wall itself is about 120 feet tall, and the spires stick up another 80 feet, and they're up at the top of the tower.
I am going to take my action and just smash my glaive into the wall right where Kamina hit before.
Okay,
A man
And
of
I'm just
style.
going to go ahead and make them reckless.
nice.
Let's see. Oh, that is absolutely atrocious. First hit is a 9 to hit, and the second one is a 12 to hit.
Okay, the second one hits. Roll me some damage
Okay.
with that glaive.
So 11. That is 25 damage.
Okay. You see that it's slashing into stone, but you manage to basically slash at it right where that crack is, and you see another cross crack form that's a little bit smaller than that first one.
Then bonus action, I'm going to twirl the glaive to the opposite end where there's a large crystal, and it shoots 4 Eldritch Blast right at the guy on top of the wall.
Okay. All right.
Let's see.
Wait.
That
Not
is
the top of the it won't reach the guy in the top of the tower, but it will reach a guy on top of the wall. And you do see that you see a guy walking along the top of the wall right there. Do you want to fire and pick off the guy on top?
I'm going to fire all of them at him. So I got one natural 20, a 15, a 14, and a 22.
Okay. Don't even bother rolling damage. You see 4 pulses come out at the same time, and they form this kind of roiling object that goes shooting out of the end of the staff, and you see it hit this guy, and you see him lift up off the edge of the tower, and he kind of disappears backwards. All right, not the tower, but the wall, the crenellation on the wall. Yeah, Bobo, what do you do?
Here's what Bobo's going to do. Bobo has 4 attacks per turn, which is one attack action. When I spend a key point to do flurry of blows, I get 2 more unarmed strikes, and then I have another attack after that.
Nice.
So I'm going to spend that key point. What I would like, Mr. DM, is for each of these attack rolls not to represent Bobo striking the wall forcefully, but rather inserting part of his plant mech as deeply into the cracks as possible.
In that
I would
case,
like
you
each
don't even
strike to be like a.
don't spend a key point to do your flurry of blows. Attack in conjunction with your elemental, and the elemental will do that. Basically, you're going to use your attack action to attack through this thing. And so rather than this rapid monk-like movement, you just see it hurl back, and it doesn't even make a fist. It makes a palm, and it just slaps the wall, and you see all these roots begin shooting out, and you see these little roots and tendrils begin digging in between the kinks in the stone. It's not perfectly joined stone. It looks like it's just a little bit rough, like it was done quickly. And so you see all these roots and tendrils and tentacles of small and large root structures go in, and you begin to hear this almighty cracking and ripping sound.
And what I would like to do is to say,
yeah,
I would like to use my bonus action
okay,
to look back at Kamina and say, Kamina, plant growth me.
That's a free action, baby. You use your free action to say plant growth me.
And if I still have an action,
yeah,
I'll
you
take
still have a bonus action.
I'll take one of my 3 sort of power nuggets.
Yep.
And I will expend that to give extra plant energy to my mech.
Okay.
To get these roots way into the wall.
Okay.
Just really far into the wall. And then I want communist plant growth to just expand them so that it just shatters this as much of it as possible.
Basically, the second you crush that bulb with so you've slapped the wall with this hand, and the strap is along that arm. You reach up with the other hand and you break the bulb, and you see this juice kind of spill down, and it gets all soaked into the suit. And immediately you see the surface of the suit begins to roil and bubble and expand. And then you see this eruption of branches and vines that come out. And each one of those branches slaps the wall, and you see root structures come out. So you've now created this, like, I don't know, 40-foot diameter hemisphere.
But I want it as deep as possible.
Yeah.
I want to go all the way through.
It has spread out, and you have now basically created an entire, about a 30-foot diameter hemisphere of plant growth that has grown into the wall and is violently, at this point, the sound is almost painful to the ears. The sound of rocks being split and twisted and wrenched, and you can hear some pretty almighty sounds of groaning and crunching and cracking coming out of this wall. That was Bobo.
Comment is next.
Or the guys on
Unless
the wall.
some bad guys get a turn.
Yeah. So you see the guy up on the wall disappear from behind the wall. Hang on just one sec. You see the guy from behind the wall disappear, and then you see a really comically large ballista get kind of slung down over the edge of the wall, and you can see he's really struggling to point it over at you, Bobo, and you see this bolt come flying down at you that looks to be a javelin. That's a javelin about the diameter and thickness of a oak staff, but you can see some barbs you can see a barb at the front of it and some kind of fins at the back of it. And this thing's coming right for you, my man.
Okay. Do I have a reaction left, right?
You do.
Okay. Well, I guess he gets to roll to try and hit me, right?
He does indeed.
Also, I don't think it's really a ballista. I think it's like just a really big crossbow.
It's a massive, massive crossbow. Like
okay.
It's so big that he's not effectively wielding it. So it's only an 18 coming at you. Does that hit you?
That does hit me.
Okay.
You should roll damage.
Okay. There we we go. All right, that's 15.
Okay. So I have a skill called Deflect Missiles. I can use my reaction to deflect or catch the missile when I'm hit by a ranged weapon attack. It did hit me. When I do so, the damage I take from the attack is reduced by 1d10, which I rolled a 5 plus 14. So reduced by 19.
Nice.
So it doesn't hurt me. If I reduce the damage to 0 and I have a free hand, which I do have a free hand, I'm using one to slap the wall. I have a free hand.
You do.
I can spend 1 key point to make a ranged attack, as with a monk weapon, with a range of 20 feet.
Okay.
So
that's if you were doing it with your physical body. You've got the power of a nature elemental behind you, so you can hurl this thing all the way back up at the dude. So I'm going to make you take a -2 because it's just out of range, but you can make a ranged attack at this guy with this.
Well, what I would like to do.
Yeah.
No, you know what? So Robert or Kamina has not done plant growth on me yet.
Not yet.
Okay, so yeah, I will.
All in a second.
I'll send it right back at him, and
Okay,
that'll cost me. That'll cost me two key. Oh.
No, it'll only cost you 1.
Okay, so I take off 1 key and make my attack roll, which is going to be. Wait, hold on. Regular attack roll, as with a monk weapon. 20. That's 12 plus 8.
It just skewers the guy, and you see him disappear behind the wall. And with that, we're going to take a pause as Kamina says, "Plant growth me!" And just throws the thing right back up and skewers the guy who fired it at him. We're going to pause right there, and when we come back, Kamina, it is going to be your turn. So, guys, everyone, we will see you in 10 minutes. Hello, hello, and welcome to part 2 of the madness that is the Aufblitzen response to an unknown existential threat presenting south of the imperial city of Daigo. You gentlemen have fought your way to the wall of a massive Colosseum-looking building, circular in its outer wall, with approximately 6 crenellations. You have, Bobo, engaged one of the major power-ups of your suit, and with this empowered burst of your nature elementals abilities, you've created a 30-foot diameter hemisphere of plant growth. You have caught the massive pool cue-sized javelin of an enemy and hurled it right back up at him about 200 feet away, skewered him and taken him out of the battle, and yelled what phrase to Kamina?
Kamina, plant growth me.
Nice. Kamina, go ahead.
Having embedded many tendrils of my suit's plant-like musculature into many different little cracks in the wall.
Indeed. Kamina, what are you doing?
It comes to Kamina, he says, you got it, bro. And casts plant growth. Real quickly, the casting time is listed as special. What does that mean?
So, the longer you cast it, the more intense it's going to get.
Got it. If you cast it using one action, blah, blah, blah. If you cast it for over 8 hours, you enrich land. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense for that. Okay.
But for our purposes, for every round you keep casting it, it's not just going to sustain, it's going to get crazier.
Okay. Kamina casts plant growth in the 30-foot, around the 30-foot sphere. Actually, I guess it's
on Bobo's area, right?
Yeah, I guess it's actually 150 foot, and I can restrict it, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to let it grow so that when it fills the 150, that all is also getting compounded.
Okay, so basically, here's what happens. Minami, we're gonna fast forward a few rounds of battle cinematically, because all the things that are gonna happen are just kind of you reacting to things and kind of managing the situation for about the next, let's see. Let's just take it round by round. So if you'll allow me, I'm just going to autopilot you guys, and we're going to rush forward 3 or 4 rounds of battle, and then I'm going to give it back to you. So as you sit there, Kamina, and maintain, what does it look like when Kamina casts one of these bardic spells? Does he have a pose that he does? Is there an outward sign that he is casting as a bard other than the fact that he's speaking?
Yeah, his instrument of choice is spoken word. And, in a sort of inspirational way. And he takes an orator's pose with a finger in the air.
Nice.
And he starts, shouting what he's shouting. And about the growth, most of his speeches, most of his spell casting is him talking about whatever's happening in terms of fighting spirit. So right now, he is encouraging the plant matter of Bobo's suit to garner its fighting spirit and expand and grow.
But hang on. Save the material. Every round that you can give me a 10 to 20 word communist soundbite, it's going to keep going.
Okay. In that case.
So, what does it sound like for round 1?
Bobo's suit, because that's how he addresses the plants.
Yeah.
Bobo's suit, now's not the time to chicken out. It's the time to gather your fighting spirit and grow. Grow like our hearts are growing in this battle.
Nice. Okay, so you see this suit just kind of flexes and enlarges, and then it just seems to kind of swell, and it looks to be about 120% of its previous volume. And every single branch and vine going out from it just triples in diameter. And you see all of the foliage and roots coming out of those just immediately dig violently into the wall. And you see this kind of shock wave of debris, detritus, flakes of stone and chunks go kind of falling out and get cast a few feet away from the wall. And then you see the growth continue to spread, and you see it shoots out another 60 feet. Minami, you and Bobo notice that there are guards that begin to pop up on the crenellation. And Minami, you just take your staff and it's like duck hunting. You just every multiple times around, you're knocking guys off the wall. It's like duck hunt. It's like playing duck hunt on Nintendo, but they're all in a line. Matt, Bobo, what does Bobo do for ranged attacks?
Bobo can throw rocks and things, but mostly he doesn't have ranged attacks, except for throwing back things that people threw at him.
At this point, your vine growth, your empowered growth and everything, the range on your thorn whip is about 200 feet right now. And so you see these 2 or 3 tentacles, these flagella pop out of the top of the back of your suit, and you see them begin to go. And you see these, they're like 6 to 8 inch diameter vines that are operating out to a distance of 200 feet and making this sonic boom whip crack at the end when they strike out at people. So you're not even controlling this. This is just happening around you. So far, you've got 2 of these vine tendril things sticking out of you. So that happens for a few seconds, right? The plant growth just takes over the wall. Soon, every square inch of stone between these 2 towers has some amount of growth on it. And you see the wall, you see light through the other side of the wall begin to peek out. And you can see the structure of another, not wall, but kind of this elaborate construction of beams. And you see that there are multiple decks to this, just kind of, from the distance, if you zoom out with the camera, it looks like a bunch of popsicle sticks built up into some sort of elaborate structure.
Wooden beams?
Wooden beams, sir. Very, very wooden. And inside, you hear, as soon as that wall breaks, you hear the ear-splitting roar of some sort of creature that weighs more than all 3 of you combined, multiplied by 5. This is a enormous creature that you're hearing.
More than our mechs combined times 5?
Your mechs combined times 5 seems to be the kind of lung capacity volume that you're guessing this thing has. Like, all of you kind of have a moment where you freeze, because you, as professional soldiers fighting at the mech scale, have an incredibly clear sense of a threat scale. And this is a very, very big threat scale.
I say to Kamina, wait. I say to fungal dude, silver guy, silver bro. I say, Minami, I can see inside. There's a wooden structure. Can you set it on fire?
That's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse. I don't have any sort of fire abilities.
Kamina, there's a wooden structure inside. Can you set it on fire?
You see a button on the side of the come on, motorcycle, and it's just a logo of like a campfire, like a big glowing huge ball of fire that's burning. You notice that
mistake.
button.
I forgot to have a giant button with a campfire on
Well,
it.
it just there was a panel, and you see something happen, and you see the panel flip, and there's this big button with a campfire logo on it.
With all the force I can muster, I bring my colossal arm up and then just slam it straight down onto it.
Okay, so you see the side of the motorcycle kind of peels away, and you see a bunch of kind of like, frankly, a little bit slightly over fresh, slightly rotten, kind of fungal material kind of falls off the side of the bike. And underneath, you see this series of tubes that all bend outwards and have kind of a nozzle on them. And you see a little pilot light burning at the bottom of it. And you see this big part of the bike squeeze and contract. And an enormous jet of flame goes streaking out in like a 100-foot beam. But as it goes out, it spreads out so that by the time it gets to the end of that 100 feet, it's about 50 feet wide. So this ray of fire begins to set the building ablaze.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's what happens when you push that button.
While
hard.
this is happening, you can see just the flames reflecting off of his shades and a giant grin ear to ear.
Yeah. You see anybody who's around, make me a perception check. You, Minami, make it with advantage.
20.
Natural
Okay.
20.
Okay. Kamina?
No, Kamina is talking to the plants.
Okay. So
There is no other intention for anything else.
Sorry. Bobo, you and Minami both see a little mushroom dude come popping out of a big part of the bike behind the driver, and he kind of gives a little salute to Minami, and then he kind of goes back down and pulls a mushroom cap down like a hatch and disappears back inside the bike.
Oh, right, because
I love
mushroom spores make really flammable, explosive material when they're out in the air.
Oh no, you just saw a bunch of liquid fuel. It
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
it wasn't mushroom spores. It was some kind of liquid that got squeezed
Fair enough.
out in a jet. Just a huge pressurized jet.
Crazy.
What's that?
Crazy. That's some kind of crazy technology that I've never seen anywhere before.
All right, so we've introduced arcano-fungal stuff. So,
Nice and magic.
Bobo, it's your turn.
Kamina is still ranting at your suit.
Comment is so what?
Ranting at his suit.
Yeah, and that seems good to me because what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt.
Sorry, I'm out. Kamina, if you've got one or two in the hopper for things that you say to the suit, this is the time to play catch up. I apologize. I realize I just fast forwarded too many times, and I did give you a chance to go for it.
And what's more, with our fighting spirit combined with the undeniable growth power in plants, I know that we can take this tower down. Stone has no spirit, and dwarf things clearly have no spirit, but we have fighting spirit. And with that fighting spirit, we will pierce this tower and then pierce the heavens above.
And by the time he gets done with that, that's where we are, right there.
Okay, there are two sorts of activities that I want to pursue. And the important one, the one that I want most of my concentration to go to, if I have to decide between them, is that I want to do whatever it takes to keep as much of my suit away from the fire as possible.
Indeed.
I want my suit to be destroying the stone, but staying away from the wood, which is probably currently catching. And if it gets too hot, I want to start to withdraw the tendrils and move them elsewhere. So whatever of my attention is needed for that, if that needs an action or whatever.
No.
There's something else I want to do.
Over the course of the next round, that fire that got spewed into the opening has taken out a certain over that way, over to the left, going back into the building. That stuff is caught on fire. The area off to the right is still unburned, is not aflame. But as that fire begins to spread, you've already got an opening completely open that all of you can go through. So you comfortably release whole, and now you don't have stuff dug in, but you're still you're what, a colossal object at this point for all intents and purposes. You're at least a gargantuan object worth of plant growth at the moment. So you can basically treat this more than forest worth of wood like rough terrain. You can just kind of move through it at half speed.
Okay, so the other thing that I want to do while I am focused on still destroying as much of the wall as possible, I feel like we're going to get to the point where I want to keep large chunks of the wall from falling on my friends. So we're going to
working your way off to the right.
Sure, but I'm using my actions to manage wall destruction, but I want to use my bonus action to do something else.
Okay.
I want to get on the radio, and I want to get on the radio to Pearl.
Do it.
And I want to say to Pearl, I don't know where you are, but we just heard something really, really big, and we need your help.
All right. So you don't have Pearl on your current frequency. So in order to get that message through, I need you to make an animal handling check to basically interface with your suit enough to kind of perform the spell. Because you're in the suit, you can use the suit's larger ability. Go ahead.
9.
Okay. The suit is too completely battle mode engaged to do that. So you can't do that this second, but next round if you want, or you know what? That was a bonus action. I'm going to say you can use your standard action to do this because functionally the suit is doing its own thing right now, and kind of the suit's going to have a turn and you're going to have a turn. So as long as you're not the thing that you're doing is making the suit do something different with his hands, you can try a different way. So basically you can try to manually arcanely override and try to get Pearl that way. So make me an Arcana check and see if via basically performing the ritual to try to dial towards her, you can get her.
4.
Okay. Yeah. Bobo is, jams his finger into his ears like, ow! So he's basically just shoved the little crystal deep into his ear.
I don't want to interrupt Kamina because he's currently helping my suit destroy this enemy fortification. But if I have any sort of action left, or maybe even on my next turn, I will yell to Minami. I'll say, try and get Pearl on the radio. We need her over here.
Yeah, you can say that to him over the crystal just fine. You don't have to shout it. You can say it through the suit, head to, set to set. But yeah,
sure.
Okay. So you do that as a free action, and you say, get Pearl, get her out here. Okay. At this point, you see on the other side of the like through the light, peeking through the gaps in this wooden structure, and there's a lot. It's a pretty hollow structure. You see a massive figure come closer over to this side, and off to the left, you see a enormous cone of cold being emanated from something's mouth. And you can't really see what it is. It's up in the shadows, but you see a massive blast of cold. The Kamina, it is your turn.
Hearing this, I'm going to try to get in contact with Pearl.
Oh, sorry. It's Kamina's turn and then Minami Silver. Sorry. Kamina, you're up.
Sorry.
You're good.
Bobo, are you still interested in Kamina continuing this? Is that what's happening?
I think that I mean, Bobo's opinion is that the primary military advantage that we can gain here is to have as much of this wall destroyed as possible.
Okay. As long as you seem to be still engaged, Common is going to keep
Yeah.
going. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, muster yourselves. Climb, vines, climb. Break through. Pierce through. Gather your spirit, for we are going to the heart of the beast now, and nothing will stop us. Nothing at all. This is ours to take.
Awesome. Minami Silver, you're surrounded by mayhem, destruction, and a not insignificant fire that you have started that has, a portion of it has been retarded by a massive cone of ice and cold wind.
Mm-hmm. So Lane, to get a path into the building, I am going to take Bobo's advice and try to get Pearl on the line.
Okay, very good.
Is that animal handling, you said?
Make me for you, it needs to be a either Arcana check or some sort of charisma-based check.
I am going to just do
plus.
straight.
that?
I'm going to do just a straight charisma check.
Okay, and what's that?
I got a 12.
Very good. You managed to dial up to a kind of intermediate operator who you tell them that you need to talk to Pearl.
This
and
is a pretty big thing. Things are getting a little bit out of hand here, and we need to get Pearl in here. We need to get Pearl on this situation.
You want Pearl on the line, or you want me to redirect?
But just redirect me. That's fine.
Okay.
Hey, just so you know, you're doing an excellent job.
Oh, thanks. That's. Oh, wow, that means a lot coming from. Hey, guys, somebody from Communist Battalion just told me I'm doing a great job. Thank you so much.
The line cuts off. Very good. That was Minami Silver. Bobo, or do you? That Minami, you did that. So you like put your finger up to your ear. You twist something on the crystal. You get the operator. You relay the message. What do you do? What's your action this round?
I figure I'm still just playing Duck Hunt with all the guys on the parapet of the wall. It's like
You guys
any
are
time.
at this point, and everything is so overgrown with vines that now at this point, the only enemy that you're aware of is whoever sent out that massive cone of cold and whatever incredibly large being is on the other side of this. You don't know how thick kind of structure of wood.
All right, in that case, I'm just going to hold my action until
Okay.
either a path opens or Pearl gets on the line.
Okay. Bobo, you make me a animal handling check or a persuasion check. Your choice.
Persuasion is a -1, so it's going to be that other thing.
Okay, yeah. So just on
7.
7? Okay. So so you can stop the suit from doing what it's about to do, or you can let the suit do what it's about to do.
What is it about to do?
Are you okay with this?
No, but what is it?
You don't know necessarily. With a 7,
Oh,
you don't know. All you know is that you can either sit there and you can just mash the big red stop button and shut everything down, or you can let it do what it wants to do.
well, the thing that I want is I'm in battle mode. Me and Kamina are tearing apart this wall. We don't want this wall here. We want it gone. We're helping each other. Kamina is helping me break this wall, and my mech is doing that. So I'm not going to stop it. I'm not going to let it. I'm going to push it further. What it's trying to do, I want it to do more of it.
Yeah, with a 7 at this point, it's kind of it's like you can run up behind a train and push on it, and you'll do something. You'll increase its kinetic energy by 1% or a fraction thereof.
That's what I'm doing. I'm increasing the train's kinetic energy by a little
What do
bit.
you want to do with any other kind of action, bonus action that doesn't involve controlling the suit's gross motion?
Um,
Do you want to activate a spell? Do you want to say anything to anybody? This is your turn. You got a few seconds.
I am all I'm doing is trying to like I said my last turn, I'm trying to manage wall destruction. So I'm trying to keep any large chunks from falling on me or my friends. I'm trying to just that's all my attention is on that. Once I think the message has gone to Pearl and the big thing is probably going to get handled, our job here, get rid of this building.
So once you guys ripped up the wall and kind of started to go inside the building, those two flagella that were whipping around, you see them immediately kind of flurry and flush with growth and with branches and whatnot. You see them kind of whip around together and form something thick. And then you see that begin to kind of twist and get shorter and thicker and stubbier. And you see massive boughs that have really, really thick canopy on really sturdy branches open up as kind of like shields, and they begin kind of like moving around like fingers, but they tend to hover around you guys. So as massive chunks of rock fall, they skitter off the sides of these massive outcroppings of each one is like the size of a tree. So, I mean, you have an incredible volume it's like being inside of a forest that's alive with hurricane force energy, and all of it's moving around you and not hurting you. It would give somebody PTSD if they were not like used to being in this kind of situation.
It sounds pretty great.
Anyway,
the wall? Is the wall still there?
So that's one thing that happens. The other thing that happens, because that was happening over the previous round, this round, you see an enormous, just kind of, it's like a massive flower that grows out of the chest of this thing. And it opens up, and as it does, you just see root-like structures go flying out, and they begin grabbing at things, and it's like watching an octopus wrap its tentacles around something and pull it in, and you see this thing just shooting out bursts of roots and ripping this whole thing apart. And in a matter of seconds, you see the entire structure kind of cave and fall. And as it crashes, as the smoke and the dust goes up, you see the figure of a massive creature. Someone do me the honor of rolling me a d6.
I got a
Who's
1.
doing it? Sir Robert, roll me a d6.
I rolled a 1.
Okay. You see a massive dinosaur figure. You see a Tyrannosaurus Rex with a mouth open wide, and it bellows in your direction through the dirt and the dust. And it comes charging forward at, oh boy. Oh my goodness gracious. I guess it comes...
Roll for it.
For Bobo. It just comes straight at this suit. It is about the size of the suit. They're about the same height. And you see this creature rush forward. Excuse me. And the suit, Bobo, if you make me a successful animal handling check, you can take a reaction through the suit. So either make me a animal handling check or a, we'll say sleight of hand. Is that still, is that a 5e thing? Hang on.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good one.
Sleight of hand, yeah. So either sleight of hand or animal handling check. Your choice.
It's gonna be sleight of hand.
Okay.
20. Natural 20 plus 3 is 23.
Okay. So you just take this incredibly simple action and you perform a kung fu move through the suit. And you basically commandeer one arm of this branch that's like a tree branch. You bend it up on itself so that it has all the torsional energy of a bent tree. And you flick it out and you just impale this dinosaur with this tree-like spear. Make me an attack roll.
Sure. 10.
Okay, that's enough. I mean, this thing, you're hitting the broadside of a barn. So you see this thing impale the dinosaur, and you see a bunch of vines are starting to try to grow out to get to it. Minami.
Is it?
Sorry, that was Bobo. It's the monster's turn. Kamina. I apologize.
Yeah, no
I apologize. It's a reaction. That's what threw me off. Sorry.
Kamina is still going to continue this, but he's excluding from his sphere of growth any bad guy plants, which is a part of plant growth. You can exclude regions.
Oh, wow. You don't see any plants that don't seem to be in league with you. All
Okay,
plants
great.
in the area are in league with you, but okay.
Great.
It's a Tyrannosaurus Rex that's facing us.
So
Sure.
Kamina says, this is it. We are the Crimson Rose of the Aufblitzen, dashing and daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly with stories to share. All through this forest we sing out in chorus, marching along as our song fills the air. Aufblitzen! Going here and there and everywhere, high adventure that's beyond compare. Majestic and mystery are part of our history, along with the secret of Aufblitzen might. Our legend is growing. We take pride in knowing we'll fight for what's right in whatever we do. Aufblitzen!
So let me fast forward a few seconds in the battle. Here's what happens. A massive hyper white ice blue dragon emerges from the shadows of the guts of the building, and Minami Silver proceeds to turn and begin volleying and suppressing this thing with massive amounts of eldritch energy. All the while, Bobo in his suit is still within another round, the rest of the surrounding building is just brought to rubble. And you see through the dust and smoke that rises, all the while, Minami is just single-handedly pinning down this dragon. It is just harassing it and harrowing in it. You see it like trying to climb up the sides of the walls to hide, and he like fires off chunks of the wall and makes it fall so that he like cuts it off and pins it down. And you just kill a dragon, not the biggest one ever, but like an adult dragon. You just blast it and hose it with eldritch energy. Meanwhile, Kamina is saying all this stuff, and you see a platform of viney growth come down beneath him, and he gets lifted up onto this like amphitheater-like structure. You see Bobo in this suit achieve another size volume bigger, and then another, until he's basically not quite as tall as the tower itself, but you know, he's about as tall as the wall that he's just ripped down behind him. He's about 85 feet tall. And you see these massive tree trunk legs beyond tree trunk. He's beginning to fill out. Right now he's really tall, but he's still kind of spindly. And you see Kamina saying all these things, and as he does, you see flames begin to erupt in the sky above you, and you see you're standing in the opening of a coliseum. Basically, the entire contents of this building is one big fight arena. And you see at the center of the arena, there is a massive, massive portal. And it is surrounded by runes, and they are glowing. And you see small figures running around the edge of these runes. Bobo, you're way up high. You can see these small figures on the ground below. Kamina, you can see them, but you are primarily concerned with lending power to this beyond epic scale colossus that you are forging through the sheer will of your bardic magic. And Matt, Bobo, at some point you have to break both of those other bottles to accomplish this, right?
And just
It's run out of juice after the first stuff.
just to tell
Well,
you,
I think at some point, Kamino will have stuck that drill into the plants.
yeah, at some point when I stop chanting about it, his persuasion, performance, and intimidation are all plus 15, and so that's his main way of interacting with the world.
Yeah.
But as soon as the plants are big, he's definitely going to just slam it in.
Okay.
And,
in that case, this figure has a head that looks like Kamina. And as Kamina talks, the mouth is operating with Kamina's words. Like very surprisingly definitely. So, and at the core of that living edifice that looks like Kamina is the actual Kamina mech. And inside of that is Kamina. So, okay. So we're three layers.
And then Bobo is like inside of the belly of the body.
Yeah, he's
inside of his mech, yeah.
And at this point, Minami, you're like, wow, okay. And you turn over and you turn around and you look back at the motorcycle and you see that the wheels have both gone 90 degrees and flat. And you see that the whole thing has stretched out a great deal. There's just kind of a flat space in the middle of it for you to stand on.
Okay.
So, what do you do? You've got a couple of rounds of action happening while this is happening to them. I have to kind of take over a little bit for a couple of rounds just to make it all make sense.
I think I'm going to try and make my way into the arena itself.
Okay. Make me a either perception or arcana check, your choice.
That is a 5 perception.
Okay. Well, your bike did a weird thing. What do you want to do? Go inside?
So it's the bike is like wide as a platform. You said.
Yeah, so the bike has basically flattened out and morphed and changed its shape and is now kind of flat, and you see it kind of hovering off the ground a little bit now that you stop and look at it.
Is it large enough to support Bobo's mech?
Bobo's mech standing on it? Absolutely not. No.
Okay, then I'm going to stand on it and drive it straight into the arena.
Yeah. You jump on, and suddenly you're kind of hovering over the ground, and you see this cloud of spores and stuff belching out below you. But you're hovering over the ground, and you kind of lean forward, and you rocket off, and you shoot into the arena. So as you get into the arena, you see that there are a number of dwarves running around, pulling on chains and stuff, and you see there are a few figures in the middle of the arena. One of them is a very tall, thin, shimmering, shining, silver white light entity that looks like Silver Surfer liquid, right? Which is crazy because you're on a Silver Surfer board. Mm-hmm. And you see a figure who looks like a grizzled old man who's like 7 feet tall, and he's covered in furs, and you see he's got a huge spear. You see a small child running around messing with some of the runes on this massive magic circle in the center of the arena. And we're back into order. Kamina, it is your turn. You are standing in a coliseum where all this is going on. Oh, and everybody make me an arcana check now that everyone has seen the portal. Then, Kamina, I swear you can have your turn.
Sure.
That is another natural 20. Man, I've rolled a lot of these.
Beautiful.
Natural
20.
8.
Natural 1.
Sweet. You guys in the great big green mech can't really see the runes. You can't really read them. You're preoccupied with battle. You're dealing with the remnants of the mate of the T-Rex that just is biting at your ankle, and you're kind of kicking it away with one foot because you've already killed its mate. And two of you don't know anything. Minami, you know something horrifyingly bad is about to come out of that portal. And when I say horrifyingly bad, I mean like maybe one step short of Armageddon bad is going to come out of that portal. And you've got a chance. You know, you've got just enough sense of how arcane circles work, having worked with them and everything. You've got one shot to try to base this thing and try to go ahead. Yeah, just one shot to try to, it's like you see somebody's about to punch you and you can't keep them from punching you, but you can kind of lean into it or you can try to dodge or soak the hit. This is what you're trying to do. You're trying to see if you can at least just kind of muck with it a little bit so that it's not as bad. So make me a Arcana check and then a ranged attack check.
That is another natural 20 for the Arcana check.
Yeah,
and that is the ranged attack. Do you want me shooting Eldritch Blast for the ranged attack?
Yes, please. Yeah.
That is a 25 to hit with that.
Okay. You realize exactly the right rune to hit that will basically collapse it'll just suck the wind out of this spell. You won't blow everything up. You won't make it go haywire, and you'll just knock
the keystone and it collapses in on itself. Basically.
What's that?
I just knock out the keystone and it collapses in.
Not quite, but you do get the maximum effect of what you can get out of it. Roll me a d6, and keep in mind, if that comes up 6, it's going to be the end of the world, and if it comes up 1, things will be very easy for you.
That is a 3.
A 3. Do you want to keep that roll or roll again?
I'm going to keep that roll.
Okay. That was what you earned with that arcane. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So you see emerging from the aperture of this magic circle, you see shimmering energy, and you see a plane to another world. You see like everything looks kind of sideways. It looks like it's at 90-degree angle, which really kind of makes your eyes water and hurts your brain to see because you're seeing two planes of existence out of sync with each other. And you see a horned maw and snout emerge through the portal, and you see that it is the head of a Tarask. And you see this thing emerge and boom, boom, stare
hop on the radio
up at the Kamina mech, the Kamina Bobo mech, and bellow with full force at this thing. Yes, Minami.
I hop on the radio. It's like there's a portal down here, and it is not kosher, and something real bad is coming out of it. We got to shut this thing down right now.
Kamina, it is your turn. Uh-oh, you're muted. I apologize.
Kamina takes a slightly different pose now that the plant thing has taken Kamina-esque form, and he notices that he's speaking through it, and he gears himself up for probably his final exposition from here, his final part of the spell.
Okay.
And he strikes a new pose that's inspiring to his friends and intimidating to his foe, he hopes, and says, "From days of long ago, from uncharted regions of the forest, comes a legend. The legend of Team Kamina, defender of the Elven Empire. A mighty team loved by good and feared by evil. And as Team Kamina's legend grew, peace settled across the wood. In the Elven Empire, an alliance was formed together with the good elves, and they maintained peace through the universe. Until a new horrible menace threatened the Empire. And Team Kamina was needed once more. We now begin the story of the super force of Aufblitzen soldiers, entrusted by the Alliance with the ancient secret of how to combine Team Kamina, Defender of the Empire!
So, as you give this spiel across the course of this battle, it just like every now and then time just seems to kind of stand still for a second, and everyone on the battlefield just like takes in another wave of that, and then everyone goes back to fighting. But as you speak, you actually 2 more arms sprout out of this colossal form. So
That's
this is
correct.
not like a Goro. So you, Kamina, have control of 2 of these arms, and you, Bobo, have control of 2 of these arms.
And Kamina wants to, if I can do this next time if you prefer, but this time's fine. Grab the big thing on his mech and stab it into the plant mass, expecting amazing things to happen. Or maybe it already happened if you say, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you've already taken that huge spike thing, and you already stabbed.
Great.
And that's what made your head grow up out of
Got
it and made 2 arms grow up out.
Perfect.
And so,
Yeah.
okay, so yeah. So you like reach down towards the mass of growth and plants that has become you, and you just kind of draw out from the core this huge crimson red blossom forms on the chest, and as it blooms, you reach in and you pull something out. What do you pull out of it?
That's a great question. Pull out of it. Is it plant matter? Like it's part of that?
It's made out of plants, any kind of tissue that a plant could produce.
Great. And how tall are we? How big is the thing that we are right now?
You're about 80 feet tall, and the thing that you're fighting seems to be about 60, 70 feet tall.
Okay.
Looks like if it stood up all the way, it might be able to get its nose up to your height. But as it's standing, its eyes are below its eyes are like at your shoulder level.
Okay.
I thought it had just poked its head in.
Oh, it climbed out. It like in a round, it like emerged. Like it was
boy.
Great. Like all of its energy coming up, it looked like it was kind of moving at a normal pace, moving forwards, and then it just kind of lumbers forward and catches its weight on its feet.
Okay.
I reach into this crimson flower and grab a hold of you said about 50, 60 feet tall for the whole group of us, the whole thing. Probably a good 5 feet diameter polished wood. So it's like not growth. It's like surprisingly polished. But pull out of it an unnaturally well-formed and a little too long to fit into the flower katana.
Nice.
Of solid wood.
Okay.
Magical with a glowing, blade on it. All entirely wood, but out of the plant mass. And let's call it a good, the same height as us.
Okay. Yeah, you see that the blade of this thing, while perhaps not razor sharp, is sharp, and the whole thing is really going to be acting as a chopping instrument at that size, no matter what. There's just no way to slice at that scale.
And
but it's
magical
going to
focus.
That's the length of a katana.
Yeah, and Kamina's katana is his magical focus.
Right.
And this is the sort of magical focus for the combined them for casting spells.
Yep. So you see basically a carbon copy reproduction in plant matter of Kamina's blade, like at scale, exactly proportionate to this mech. To this entity that they have created via fusion. So, Minami Silver, you are on a flying motorcycle board. It's no longer a motorcycle, but you're basically on a mushroom spore, fire-belching, flying platform with a cannon of death in your arm. What do you do?
I get on the radio with him. It's like, all right, now you keep it from getting all the way out. I'm going to sever these runes. We'll bisect it with the portal closing.
Okay, so you take over. You take command of a group of soldiers that fall, and you see Pearl hit the ground, as well as, I apologize, let me flip the page. You see a there we go. Sorry. You see a enormous suit that looks just like the Iron Giant kind of vibe, and you see in the core of it, there's this big crystal sphere, and floating in the center of it, you see a Warforged, and you just see a whole bunch of tubes coming off of him, connecting to the mech behind, and he begins just spewing out bursts of lightning at some of the dwarves that are trying to fire these kind of war scale cannons. You see a volley. You realize there's an entire kind of corner to the arena that you haven't really inspected. From that direction, the far side of the arena, you see a volley of large cannon fire go out and hit the mech. And you see a Aarakocra in a kind of weird, shimmering, swirling suit that's translucent around him. And he has these two wings that are like 60 foot in diameter. And they're just weird, bizarre, scintillating, crystalline light and air and smoke. You can't even tell what they are, but they flap, and you can see the incredible power of these things. So those two guys come down, and Minami, they kind of cue into you, and they say,
Roger, Roger. This is Lightning Bolt, ready for duty.
and the other one you hear,
This is Quip, coming in.
Mhm.
so the two of them kind of fall into formation at your back so that the three of you form a triangle.
I just drive in and get up next to the runes and just plant my glaive on the ground and then just run it through all of the runes, hoping
Okay.
to destroy the portal.
Make me an Arcana check and an Athletics check.
That is a 9 for Arcana,
Okay.
and that is a 24 for Athletics.
Okay. You absolutely dig this glaive into the ground, and you are like, yeah, because you're using your upper body strength. Like when you're whitewater rafting or whatever, you're using your entire core strength to twist that blade down into the ground and maintain lock with the board that you're on. And you sever something, and you get this wave of chills wash over your body. And in a split second, you realize, hey, Aaron, you done messed up. Make me a dexterity saving throw as a truly astonishing quantity of arcane energy is unleashed by this bond that you have severed.
That is a 16.
At 16, you manage to ride this wave of energy, and you only take what, an errant rock hits you on the helmet and bings off, and you ignore it. You're a barbarian. Don't you have damage reduction to non-magical damage?
I'm not raging right now, though.
Oh, you're not? Okay, all right. Anyway, yeah, you ride this wave of energy as you see this explosion well up behind you, and you manage to keep the board flat to the propagating wave of energy. So, who is next? I apologize. I flipped the page. After Minami comes Bobo, I believe. Yes, Bobo, you're up.
So I think it's going to be my job during this to get this creature back into the portal.
It is
Or at
still,
least-
it is still currently open at the moment. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So I'm gonna, with what control over the giant plant mech that I have,
Actually,
I'm going to.
I have terrible news for you. I'm sorry. I just rolled for you reminded me to roll for the event, and I rolled for it. And based on the amount of damage that the portal took, it would collapse on a 1 through 5. And I rolled a 5. So you see this portal collapse closed, and you realize you've just got a Tarask on your hands. Period.
I thought the Trask was only partway through it.
No, it came out and landed on its feet and settled on its feet, right next to it.
Gotcha.
All right.
All right. Well, it looks like we've only got one of these to deal with.
That's the spirit, because it could have been two. All right, Bobo, what do you do?
I punch it.
All right.
I use my key points.
What kind of weapon do you use?
I mean, whatever the strongest weapon I have is. I have no idea what this mech can do. You told me 2d6 plus 4. Bobo himself is able to do 1 attack and then 2 additional unarmed attacks and then a second attack for a total of 4.
Okay, so first off, roll me a either animal handling or what kind of check do you think that you would make to get the mech to do the kinds of things that you want it to do?
Athletics.
Athletics. Just make me an athletics.
It's very physical.
Okay. Make
He's
me
a
an
monk.
athletics.
He's a monk. It's a key thing.
Sure.
18 plus 4 is 22.
Okay. With a 22, you in a split moment, what do you want to do? Do you want to attack with a weapon? Do you want to attack with your hands? How do you want to operate in this mech? You tell me. What's Bobo's most natural go-to fighting style?
Bobo's most natural go-to fighting style is to punch over and over and over again with every single limb that I have available. So punches and kicks, both.
You see
every
these
kind.
lower fists closed. Does he fight with a punching style or a karate style?
It's punching.
Okay. You see these fists knurl and knob up and become practical spheres that are just have massive, like boulder-sized spikes sticking out of them. So you're basically about to punch him with, I don't even know of an appropriate object to do. It's like bigger than a wrecking ball. Like the biggest terrestrial-sized wrecking ball.
Also, any other kind of object that. So if somebody attacks, the thing that Bobo's fighting style is Drunken Master fighting style. So, he punches a lot himself, but also any kind of attack that's flying around the battlefield, he will grab and redirect onto his opponent. So if they're shooting ballistas at us, he's grabbing he's touching them and just redirecting their courses so it hits the Tarrasque.
Okay.
If the dwarves are shooting stuff at us, or if Pearl is shooting blasts of energy or whatever, he's helping anything that's forceful that's around here. He's like it looks like he's tripping and falling, but what he's really doing is like grabbing the thing and pulling it down so it hits the Tarrasque. So, and then on his way back up, he gives it an uppercut and all this sort of crazy moves.
Nice. So Kamina and his 2 arms are kind of on this bolt upright platform stance, right? And beneath them, you see the whole thing wobbling around, looking like it's about to fall at any given minute. And Minami, you and the other 2 guys are like, "Oh no, this is terrible." He's
He looked completely unstable. Looks like he's going to go down. Please advise Minami.
And you see, you hear the Aarakocra go,
"Oh, wow! Gravity! It looks like he's gonna come out any second. Shall we get out of here?"
Kamina knows that this is just Bobo's fighting style. This is just. It looks like when it looks like he's about to fall over, that's when you're about to get 3 fists in your face in a row.
Yeah, Kamina's into it, man.
And so as you guys are all, so all that happens, the Tarrasque turns and basically just kind of lunges at you and opens its mouth wide and goes to bite at you. And you see its jaws kind of latch down onto the side of the mech. Kamina, make me a dexterity saving throw with advantage.
With advantage. 27.
Okay. This
them
thing
was a 1.
comes into your range, and you get an attack on it. It is right there, bitten onto kind of the upper portion of the mech.
Like a physical attack, katana attack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Attack katana.
Let me find my... There we go. All right. I have a 1.
Nice. You kind of bring the blade down, and you accidentally it pings off of one of the massive spikes off the back of the Tarask, and it just kind of stabs down into the leg of the bottom half of the suit of the thing. Bobo, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Bobo?
Matt, Bobo.
Is he frozen? Nope, there he is.
Yeah. Okay. If I have to make a dexterity saving throw ever, then if it's the kind of thing that I would get half damage on, it doesn't damage me at all. And if I would get full damage,
This is not a damage.
it's only half damage. Okay.
It's not a damage thing.
That is going to be an 11.
Nice. So you two, so Kamina, this Tarask comes in and latches onto you. You go to swing at it, and you bring it down with an incredible amount of force. It bounces off this horns on the back, and it basically cuts into the leg, and the whole figure, you guys go down. And this Tarask kind of bears you forward, and it's now got you pinned to the ground, and it's beginning to kind of try to like rip and pull at you. Minami, it is your turn.
I see the little foot pedal next to me. I slam my foot into it, and my motorcycle launches me into the air directly at the Tarask. I let out a guttural laugh as I enter my rage, and I just bring my giant glaive straight down onto the head of the Tarask.
Nice. Roll me a athletics check or acrobatics check, your choice, to try to land on the target of your choice.
That is a 23 athletics.
You said you wanted to land on the head?
I want to land on the head.
Land on the head, and you bring this thing down, and you stab into the soft tissue area, just where the eye socket is. So you're not stabbing into the bone. You're stabbing down into the soft tissue of his skull. Make me an attack roll.
That is, let's see, I'm going to make it recklessly.
Okay.
Let's see, that is a 22 to hit.
That hits. Do me some damage.
Okay. Let's see, that's 23. That's 30 damage.
30.
As
Excellent.
the glaive just digs deep into it, and then I bring it back out, and then I just slam it straight into the eye socket for a second attack.
Okay.
That is a let's see, that's a 8. Let's see, 8. That's a 25 to hit.
Okay, that hits.
Okay. And that is an additional, let's see, 24 damage as
Nice.
it just like, it's like kicking a like thing of pudding as like the eye just.
All right. I love it. Bobo, it is your turn. You are prone as a massive, colossal mech. What are you going to do?
I mean, I punch it.
Okay.
I mean,
Go for it. Do it. You may be like you've gone down on one knee, so like you haven't completely laid out flat, but you're down on one knee, and you kind of like right yourself, which uses a little bit of movement, and then you just start wailing. Are you punching him in the face? Are you punching him in the rib cage from below?
All of the above.
Okay. Your blows start landing everywhere. Give me 4 attacks on him then.
That is going to be a 12. Gee whiz. And a 24.
The 24 is a miss.
And a 12.
Miss.
And a 20.
Miss.
Tarrasques have 25 AC and 676 hit points.
Yeah. It's a lot. So your fists start slamming into these scales, and you realize that as tough as you are, as incredible as the force is behind each one of these punches, they're just kind of thud, 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 just slamming into the hide of this thing, and it's just soaking them. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. So you see with that, Pearl opens up her mouth, and you see a enormous glow of energy, and you hear this massive sucking sound and a glow of light in the depth of her throat. That's Pearl's turn. And you see this Warforged turn and go goom, dum, dum. And you hear this kind of revving up, spooling up sound. The Tarrasque is over you, and so it lunges down to take a bite at you, or kind of forward, downwards at, kind of your core. That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm dead.
What's that? You're dead?
I mean, probably, right?
Well, it's biting the suit, not you.
Okay.
It's not going to bite you in the body and kill you, unless that's a good point. I should probably make a check for where on the body it attacks. All right, you're good. All right. So right now the suit is at full size, full power, full health, basically just shy. It's only been bitten once, so you're safe. So this thing bites into it, and you can see a huge chunk of the side you hear a massive ripping, popping, and shredding, and a chunk of the side gets torn loose. And you kind of, Kamina, you feel there's a little bit of play to the steadiness of your upper part of the suit. Your upper chest is it's like a ligament is loose. All right. Okay. Kamina, it is your turn.
Okay.
And the tail goes whipping over at the the tail goes whipping over at the other two, at like Pearl. It goes whipping over in their direction, and you see it just kind of the tail goes flying over their heads. Yes.
Tarrasques make 5 attacks.
Well, I thought that maybe you would want to actually finish this game at some time sooner than 11. So I'm taking the Tarrasque 5 attacks.
I do. We don't have much more time.
2 massive, heinous attacks instead of 5 smaller ones. So that bite is even more devastating, and that tail whip is even more devastating. So
all
right. So that was Kamina. Your turn. Did you get to go yet?
I am going to
not roll a 1 and stab him with the sword.
I don't. Should I be thinking of things in terms of the sword doing the most damage? Or
Yeah.
I have spells too. What's
Sword
that?
is definitely the most damaging thing you've got right now.
Great. I will attempt to attack with the sword. I will let you tell me how to determine damage when if I hit.
Sure. You just
Um,
you just your attack and tell me whether or not you attack.
Deal. I will do the attack.
Now, you don't have any kind of bardic abilities that you want to use that amplify anything, or I'm just asking right now.
Yeah.
I don't want you to feel limited. You can still do things, Matt. You can still cast spells. You can still do all that kind of stuff, right? Just
Don't
making
have
sure
any
you know.
spells.
Okay.
Damage roll. Sorry. So yeah, I'm going to look at my spells. I don't actually know the difference between whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm
Okay. If
going.
you want to think about it, if there's something you want to do, let me know and jump back in order.
Yeah, I'm just going to cast fireball.
Okay. Ooh. Firebolt.
Fireball.
Fireball.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's interesting.
I just get to do it. There's let's see, blah blah blah. 20-foot radius.
Make me
You need a save, a deck save 18.
make me either a animal handling check or an arcana check. Your choice.
Okay, I will do animal handling.
Bobo, make me
A 14.
also. What's that?
14.
14. Bobo, can you make me either an animal handling or an arcana check?
Yep. 12.
What was it?
12. Arcana check is 12.
Arcana. Okay. All right. And Sir Robert, you did which one? Arcana
I had a 14
or
on animal handling.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So, Kamina, you go to cast this spell, and casting a spell requires verbal and somatic components.
Uh-huh.
And so you go to do this spell, and you feel that tilt throw you off, and you realize that you are this close to losing the spell. And then you feel Bobo kind of account for it, and you see Bobo's hand kind of reach up and kind of catch you before you tilt and fall off, and you manage to pull off this spell because the two of you in conjunction kept the mech together. And you
Great.
see not just a normal fireball, but some massive scale, like the fury and the hate and the rage of a forest fire emerges from the fingertips of this mech, where you
From the sword.
from the sword. The sword erupts in flame, and you just kind of point it at him.
What do I roll?
And it, roll me
For damage, I mean.
for damage. Yeah, you're gonna roll.
It would
How many?
be 11d6.
It should be 11d6.
That's
So you're
like
gonna
the
do
natural.
12d12.
Okay. I'm just going to do it in D&D Beyond because, they can do that. Uh, 75.
Okay.
And then, because I have a bardic ability when I cast one of my spells, I can attack with my weapon.
Nice. Do it.
So I attack, and
Your sword is now on fire for the rest of the
woohoo!
fight. So.
That sounds great. And I attack with a 20.
Okay. A 20 does not hit, unfortunately.
Okay.
Unfortunately. All right. Minami Silver.
I'm going to draw my glaive.
Perception check real quick. Sorry. Before you do that.
That is a perception. That is a 20.
20. You notice that there is a group of dwarves on what looks like really big rams with massive ropes, and they are riding in the direction of the fight between this colossal thing and this
Keep going. I'll be right back.
and it looks like they're going to try to snare, trap, trip, hold, alter the course of the fight in favor of the Tarask.
I would like to get on my yell out to the Iron Giant and the Bird guy. We got trouble. Cut him off. And with that, I just let yell as I take the glaive, swing it over the Trask's head to the other eye, and slam it down for 2 more attacks into its other eye.
All right.
The first hit misses. The second hit, though, does a 19 hit.
Nope, it does not, unfortunately.
The glaive just kind of catches right on one of the horns and then just bounces off.
So I'm going to say for you, because you're not attacking the whole body and you're specifically attacking the eye, it's going to get really dangerous for you. There's a trade-off, but you're going to get a -5 to the AC. You're going to have AC 20 to attack that eye. So
got it.
Make me a either athletics check or dexterity saving throw to stay planted.
That is a 28 athletics check.
Yeah, you're planted. I'm not going to make you make another check with a 28. That means that you have achieved a level of finesse. You're like Laird Hamilton riding a wave. Like you make it easy. It's sick. Bobo, it is your turn.
All right. I miss. 17 plus 8 is a hit. And then I miss. And then 18 plus 8 is another hit. So I punch the Tarask twice. I do 9 points of damage. And then I do 6 points of damage.
All right, yeah. So that's 9 and 6 at your scale, which blown up to the scale of these fists looks
okay.
like you hear the sound, you hear the shock wave of energy, and you hear the crunching of bones up inside this Tarask, and you realize that you just punched this thing hard enough that you could have possibly ruptured some of its internal organs. Like these punches are being augmented through the size and the power of the suit that you're inside of.
I'm back.
That's nice.
So it looks like you just did more damage to that mech in that moment than even the fire did. Like you heard the crunching sound of its ribs. Okay.
Nice, Bobo.
That was Bobo. You see Pearl. Pearl ignores you. Sorry, Minami. Pearl ignores you and unloads that beam of energy out of her mouth that you saw coming, and you see this massive hole burned into the side of the Tarask. It's like a 5-foot diameter hole that is just cauterized and smoking, and you see ichor and blood and stuff begin to kind of trickle out of it. And then you see the big Iron Giant looking mech kind of turn, and you see it pivot, and it begins to go, and it just starts laying suppressive fire at these dwarves on these rams. And you see these eruptions of like the dirt goes spraying up in the air 40, 50, 60 feet where these beams of energy hit, where he misses. And the rams are terrified, and the whole rope maneuver begins to break down. The Tarask fumes with rage and turns and spins its tail at the Iron Giant looking mech and tries to attack it. And you see that tail hit the middle of that mech, and you see it just get lifted up off its feet, and it just gets flung, and it lands in the pile of burning, smoldering, flaming wreckage at the edge of the Colosseum. He basically gets thrown into the burning part of the building. And you see it turn and flick its tail at Pearl, and you see it smash off the top of Pearl's tortoise shell mech. And you see it, you see sparks and a shower of energy as the big spikes at the tip of its tail gouge into and rake across the top of Pearl's mech, but they bounce off. Kamina. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. He then turns and begins to take a bite at you guys, the two of you, because he's got full movement. And his jaws clamp down on Kamina on your off arm, not your sword arm, but on your off arm. And you feel tearing and tugging. Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Okie dokie.
Bobo, you can make either a animal handling or athletics check to try to give him a +2.
I got an 18.
Okay.
15.
All right, so that's a 20. Excellent. You manage to, he bites your arm and you feel him kind of coil up and you feel the full power of all of his neck muscles and his core. He contracts his whole body at once and tries to just rip your arm off. And you manage to kind of lean forward and go with it. Bobo is a master of redirecting energy. So you feel yourself supported by him. And as one, you deny him the ability to rip this arm off.
Great.
Kamina, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm going to do the same thing I did last time.
Stab him with the sword?
Casting Fireball.
Fireball. Okay.
And
Both of you make me either Arcana or Animal Handling checks.
Okie dokie.
Here comes an Arcana check of 13.
And an animal handling check of 18.
Nice. Okay. Very good. Yeah. So you you just pull the same move. You just bring the hand up, and you see everybody who with a decent wisdom, passive perception sees the Tarask actually wince as it recognizes the movement, and you cast fire at it, and
roll?
it's just engulfed in flames. Yes, 12d6.
12d12?
Oh, sorry, 12d12. Yes.
I don't have that many d12, so...
Oh, wait. Yeah, Matt, what did you get for... Okay, yeah.
He had a 13.
Right. 13 damage off of 12d12?
No, he had a 13.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I did 76 damage.
76? Okay.
And then my attack with the longsword, same thing there.
Okay.
15.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Give me just literally 1 minute, guys. I apologize. Be thinking about what you want to do in this battle. You can discuss amongst yourselves. The DM is giving you a free gaming, strategizing, metagaming, shameless opportunity here for 60 seconds.
If you're leaving, do you want me to pre-roll real quick?
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
My time is drawing short because I got to get up and take kids to school early.
Yeah, mine too.
5, 15, 24, 28.
Hey.
All righty then. Have you gentlemen prepared your course of action for this battle?
I'm going to
Yes.
keep attacking.
Okay. It is whose turn? What did we leave off on? That was the monster. That was Kamina. That was who just went? Sorry.
Kamina just went.
Kamina just went. Minami Silver. Make
All right.
me a perception check. And think Harry Potter Team Gryffindor Quidditch vibes.
Well, I get such good on perception, such low on hit. So let's see. That is a 20.
A 20. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a good time to roll a 20.
Woohoo!
Minami Silver, you see a glinting flash of something, and immediately a little rhyme pops into your head. Not all that glimmers is gold. And you realize that that wasn't the flash of precious metal. It was the glint of a gem or a crystal, and a big one. A huge fat ray of sunlight coming down, hit it just the right angle as you're flying around. So you notice that.
Where is the crystal located?
It is on the ground. It looks to be about maybe 15 feet from the edge of the magic circle in just some random direction away from it. So say towards the cannons, that side of the arena.
All right. In that case, I am going to do one more attack. Well, do my attacks. One bounces off, and then one lights up with radiant energy as it just smashes into the Trask's eye for 44 damage.
Nice.
Before I slide down the back of the Trask and then hop off its tail right where the gem is located.
Okay.
Good
This
move.
Tarrant is not looking good, gentlemen. You see Bobo. You see the Tarask has just tried to rip your upstairs neighbor's arm off, and he is currently kind of not paying attention to you and is whipping his tail around at Pearl and Quip.
I'm sorry,
And-
who is my upstairs neighbor?
Kamina upstairs in the
Kamina.
net, in the
Well,
flower
he doesn't
bed.
have a tail, though. What tail?
The Tarask has a tail.
The Tarask is whipping its tail at Pearl, Quip, and Bolt.
Great.
Well, at least at Pearl and Bolt. Quip has been flying around all this time. The only reason why you guys have a clean fight with this guy is because Quip is flying around and is just lighting up anyone who shines their face, who shows their face in this arena. He's just lighting them up like a pincushion. So he's providing so much suppressive fire in all directions that most of the dwarves that would have been running around your feet and harassing you have just kind of fled and are hiding
Thanks,
until.
Quip.
What is
Say what?
I said, thanks, Quip.
Which you would have noticed, kind of the camera would have caught that in the corners and the edges of the shots.
Sure.
It's not been at forefront, but you would have seen Quip just kind of buzzing and flying around in and out of the scene. So that was Minami Silver. Bobo, it's your turn to attack.
all right? I already rolled my attacks. I landed one attack for 8 damage,
Nice.
and then the next attack.
And as that blow lands, you feel like if I'm sorry, I apologize. You need to spend a key point to do this, but if you spend a key point, you can basically translate that. You said 8 points of damage, right?
8.
Yeah. You're gonna translate that up to colossal scale by spending a key point. Basically, you're gonna
Do it.
Yeah. You as you spend the key point, you funnel. What does it look like when you do a key strike through this thing at colossal scale?
I mean, what I spend key to do extra strikes.
I'm saying this is something akin to, like a stunning blow or something like that. You have to spend a key point to do it. This is
Okay.
a move that you get to spend a key point
power
to
up.
do. You basically get to send all the energy from your body into the suit, and you're basically showing the suit how to move with an arm. right? Because
Sure, yeah.
it's a nature elemental. It doesn't know how to move as a humanoid really well. You do. So
It's
All
a
right.
punch.
You
It's
do.
the fist moves forward, it strikes the thing.
And you hit it for 80 points of damage, and you feel a bunch. You hit it in a different spot in the core, and you see the rib bones crumple in, and you see it kind
Well, you're
of.
going to like this next one then, because
Okay.
the next attack was a miss, but the attack after that, I rolled a natural 20.
Nice. Please
And
tell
so
me.
I get to double
one more
my
key
damage
point left.
dice.
Do you have one more key point left?
I do.
Nice. Go for it. Roll me some
So
damage.
if we're going to follow the same rules, that means that I'm going to be able to put 120 damage into it.
So you rolled 12 damage?
Yes.
Yes, then you do 120 damage. So, okay. Yeah, you just lay into this guy with the first blow, and you break some of his ribs, and then you take the other one and you uppercut his jaw. And Minami, make me a acrobatics check with advantage, or acrobatics or athletics with advantage.
That is a 16.
Okay, that's good enough. Yeah, you feel a massive shockwave of energy make the earth beneath your feet go lunging upwards as the jaw of the Tarrasque breaks. You see a massive, it's got huge horns sticking off its jaw. One of those horns just breaks off, and you see the jaw deform under the punch. Yeah, and then you see you see Pearl just begin to. She just points a line, just rakes a line down its side of energy, and you see it just kind of split open. And then the Iron Giant looking guy, that you see him emerging from the wreckage, and parts of his suit are glowing orange. And from across the way, you just see him hold out a single hand, and he just blazes a huge hole somewhere around the ankle and tendon of this thing. And you see it limping and beginning to kind of favor the other leg.
Nice.
This monster bellows in rage, and you see a bunch of its wounds close up, but it's still massively, massively hurting. And it whips its tail over at Pearl. Oh, man. And you see Pearl just go flying and flipping end over end. Man, and fortunately, you see her land on her side, and you see that head come whipping down, and it kind of pulls the center of gravity over, and she lands on her belly. And another arc of the tail over at the Iron Giant guy, you just see it come down and smash him down into the ground. And when the tail comes away, you don't see that mech get up immediately. It then turns and it just hobbles over at you. It doesn't even have full speed because of its bad leg, but it bites at you. And at the two of you, let me see which one. Kamina, it bites at you.
Okay.
And your upstairs situation is precarious. You feel it bite down on that arm, and it tries to do the same thing again. Make me a dexterity or a constitution saving throw, your choice.
Okie dokie. 9.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, 12.
12. Okay, good. You again, you feel a lot of ripping and a lot of tearing, but it doesn't tear the arm off. But you do see that there is a profound amount of damage that was just done to that shoulder socket. It looks like if it manages to get that attack in again, you're going to lose that arm short of a miracle. And then it releases and it reaches down and it bites lower and it bites at you, Bobo. Yeah, and it just kind of closes. It's just kind of gumming at. It's just got a mouthful of tree. It can't really bite down. You don't hear any crunching or cracking. It doesn't damage you. It just gets a mouthful of tree, and that's it. Kamina, it is your turn.
I'm going to keep with my working recipe.
Keep in mind your sword is flaming.
Yeah, I'm attacking with it each time.
Oh, okay, cool.
I've just been
All right,
missing.
sure.
But I get a weapons attack. If I just do a weapons attack first, I don't get an extra thing. But if I do the spell first, I get the extra weapon.
Nice, cool.
So fireball again.
Yep.
And I pre-rolled my animal handling and got a 25.
Okay. And so you got a 25. Matt, make me an Arcana or preferably an Arcana check.
9.
Okay, that's fair. You're gonna do 12d8 worth of damage this time.
Okay. I can do that if I can. There it is. And 66.
Okay. 66 points of damage.
Yep.
You see this Tarask just wreathed in flames, and its jaw is broken. One of its eyes, both of its eyes. Haven't you attacked successfully on both of its eyes?
I think so.
Both of its eyes have been sliced so that it can, you can tell it can only barely see. It doesn't seem to be fighting by vision quite as much anymore. It seems to be fighting by sound. You can see it kind of moving its head around, and it seems to be echolocating things almost.
All right.
So this massive creature with a broken jaw and a hobbled leg, covered in just slashes and gouges and burn marks and broken ribs and everything, he howls and bellows. And Bobo, you know that this thing has the rage of a dying animal. What do you do? Sorry, is it Minami Silver's turn?
No, I get a weapons attack.
Oh, weapons attack, yeah.
I got 26.
26 to hit.
With
That hit.
With a natural 20.
You got a natural 20. You critted on it.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Do the double damage. Do the double damage thing.
And
Matt, do you have any more key points left?
Yeah.
Make me either an Arcana or an Animal Handling check.
And what damage do you want me to roll for the wooden sword? The big giant sword.
Oh, just Matt, what did you get?
11. Do you want me to spend a key point?
Yes, I do. I want you to. Do you have a bowl full of dice or anything?
On D&D Beyond, I do.
Okay,
Or I actually do have just a big container.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a.
However many dice you can fit into your hand.
Okay.
Roll that.
Okay.
Just in one grab. Just one grab, and then tell me what that reads.
All right. This is my dice.
Yep.
And it was... It was 128.
Nice. Just at that moment, Bobo's hand goes shooting up. Make me with advantage either an athletics check or a sleight of hand check, Bobo.
Okay. It's going to be athletics, and
Okay.
that's going to be 21.
Okay. Bobo reaches out and grips this thing immediately below the jaw, and Kamina, your sword comes down and vorpally decapitates the head from the body, and you see with singed, you fully cauterize through it as you burn through. The body falls away, and the head is left in the hand of Bobo. And Bobo, you bring the head over, and you see that you're staring eye to eye with Minami Silver. Minami, do you say anything? Because Minami Silver is standing on the head of this Tarask that you've been fighting this whole time. Minami,
I think I just give them a good old salute.
Okay, nice. You see a bugbear on top of this head give you a salute as he holds a massive spear, and the camera kind of zooms back, and you see a number of these dwarves kind of running down the hallways and stuff. You see them just kind of turn into smoke and dissipate in place. You
Didn't
see
expect
the stone and the wood and all this stuff around you. It just kind of, with a great cough, a great wet cough, you see all of it just kind of dissolve and fade like smoke. And all of you make me a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw.
12.
Okay.
18.
Okay.
Not natural 20.
Okay. Minami, you kind of stand up a little bit straighter, and Minami, you're not there anymore. Minami's not home. You're somewhere else. But what they're looking at, what they're looking into the eyes of, you can, both of you, immediately tell you are speaking to a profoundly powerful arcane being that has just possessed Minami Silver, because his eyes are now glowing silver, and you see him stand very straight and give you kind of a very poised, very polished, elegant turn of the head, and then he looks up at you and says, "I believe this vessel will do well. Part peaceably with me, and I will part peaceably with you."
Kamina says, new guy, you're acting pretty weird, but sure, if you need to leave.
And a booming laugh that kind of vibrates and shakes the body of this colossal mech that you're in, ripples through you, and you realize you're not talking to Minami.
I don't think Kamina is quite psychologically equipped to do more than he did.
Okay, that's fair. Bobo, do you react? Do you say anything?
From where Bobo is, I don't think Bobo sees Minami's eyes.
You're the one holding him. You're holding
okay.
him out where you can see him. Kamina is looking down and can see him on top of the head. He's absolutely eye level with you. Like the suit has kind of peeled back, and the part of the suit that you're in, you're near the surface and you can see.
Okay. Well, I can narrate the next thing that Bobo does.
Sure.
Which is that he's really tired, and he says to this to the guy, the glowing-eyed entity, he says that you should talk to my captain. I'm not in charge here. I'm just a soldier. I can't negotiate with you.
Indeed. A commander, you say? Someone who is in charge of many legions of men.
Yeah.
Very well. I will speak to this one.
I give him my radio.
You bring the head over closer, and he like walks down the nose of the Tarask and takes your radio, and he looks at it and looks at you.
I introduce him. I call the captain, and I introduce them to each other. So I say, this guy.
You crush your second piece. You crush your second crystal to send a message. Okay. And what are you saying?
I say to the captain, "Hey, captain, this the battle seems to be over because some sort of entity possessed one of our teammates here and vaporized all the bad guys. And so I just want you to talk to this entity because it's way above my pay grade. Thanks."
Who is this? Who am I speaking to?
And you see the figure turn and look down at the sound coming out of your hand that you've crushed, that you're kind of holding out. And he leans forward as if to speak into the microphone, and he says, I am returned. Tell the imperial magisterial seat that Porthos has fallen. And with that, the scene cuts. And we will maybe one day find out why this figure with shining eyes has named himself Porthos. But until that time, suffice it to say, the Aufblitzen have done their job. They have suppressed the problem. They have brought the figure to a point of negotiation with their superiors and will be decorated at the highest level for their legendary performance, creating a successful one-on-one tete-a-tete with a Tarrasque, a thing that will be spoken of for ages to come. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us at the Starfall Collective. It's been a pleasure. Failure is beautiful, but man, these guys make Kick and Tail look good too.
Good job, Josh. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. That was fun. Thanks for playing Calvin Ball with me.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me to the game.
Oh, yeah, Michael.
It was really great to meet you, Mike. And
It's great playing with you guys too.
Yeah, hopefully you'll do it again sometime soon.
Yeah, of course.
I just wanted to make sure that got on as part of the valediction. So let me flip us off. Anyway, not flip us off. Flip the thing so that we're off.
This is the Starfall Collective, flipping everybody off.
That's right.
Good night and goodbye.
That's right.
Flip
Bye-bye.
that screen right off. You just flip it right off.
Whoop. All right, we're out.